What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, friends and family? I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all. It is Thursday, June 18th, 2026, year of our Lord. What's happening, friends? Got a lot to cover today. Yes, we do. And y'all all know that the chat is a part of the show. So I appreciate the chat for tapping in and showing out every day and every night. What do y'all do on the weekends when I don't stream? What's the play? What's up to my nurses? What up, V Nicole? What up to everybody in the chat? What do y'all do on the weekends when I don't stream? What's the play for the weekends? What up from DXB? Where's DXB? I recognize people by their airport code now. It used to be like area code. That's how you can tell in Detroit where somebody was from. 313-810-248-734. Now I acknowledge people based off of, oh, that's Dubai. Shout out to my Dubai people in the building. Now I just kind of recognize people by their airport. DFW, LAX, MCO, DTW, DFW, IAC, EWR. EWR, I think that's down in DC. BNA, hold on, let me tell you where BNA is. BNA is, gosh, what is BNA? I've been to BNA before. I've never seen VIS. I do know MCO. IAH, that's Houston, all day long. I don't remember what BNA is. RDU, I don't know what RDU is offhand. BHM, I'm gonna have to start remembering these. PNS, it's a lot of these. EWR is Newark. I have been to Newark. I know EWR. Obviously, I know Nashville. That's it. I've been to Nashville. BNA. It's been a while since I've been to Nashville. So Raleigh, Durham. Okay. LGA is LaGuardia all day long. PTI, what is that? Pittsburgh. Busy work today on NACA. All right. I see y'all. Birmingham. Okay. All right. Well, listen. Hopefully I get to recognize some more area codes, and I'm going to be checking y'all out and seeing what y'all talking about. What's happening? How y'all feeling today? It's kind of dark outside today. It's a lot of clouds. The weather is nice as far as the temperature, but it's very cloudy outside today. And all that means to me is that it's a good work day. What's up, Susan? What up, Vito? What up, AJ? What up to Atlanta in the building? What up, Rocks, Broadway, Conspiracy Brother Green? What up, Alex? Alex in the building. Black Butterfly. My dog, Classy Beats. What is that, Tulsa? I've been to Tulsa before. Obviously, I've been to DMV. What up, Lex? What up, Treehouse? What up, PV? Hey, the quote for today is this. The soldier prays for peace, for they bear the deepest scars. When I look for a quote, I'm looking for a quote based off of conversations that I have in real life. And what people don't understand is that every conversation, or most of the things that we then talk about a lot of times, I draw from lifetime experiences. Now, you combine that with the stories that we have to talk about as far as popular culture, but in reality, a lot of us have a lot of lived experiences. And the reason why y'all can relate to me so well throughout this morning show, whether I'm doing an imitation or I'm having a conversation and I'm bringing it back to a relationship, or I'm talking about money, or I'm talking about going through something. Yesterday, y'all seen me do the whole thing, the shebang, where I was talking about people under a certain age shouldn't even be able to vote. They shouldn't even be able to have a conversation. We don't want to hear your thoughts because if you hadn't had your car repossessed or you haven't been a month or two behind or something like that. The reason why is because I draw from real life experiences. And so I think that you can tell the difference between a person that been through it or is experiencing or seen it or observed it or lived through it in some capacity, whether you've seen it with your parents, grandparents, in your neighborhood, all of that stuff. I believe that the best stories and the best people to be able to tell those stories and break it down from a C student's perspective is a person that's drawn from real life experiences. So what I do is I actually be out on a regular basis, whether it's in the streets, whatever it is that's happening, I am participatory in experiencing it. And that's why I'm so passionate about the things that I talk about. Even when it comes to the things that we talk about inside of the Patreon, I am very, very passionate. I'm very, very passionate about the things that I'm expressing, and I'm very much animated in these conversations. And the quote that I used today, again, let me repeat it for y'all. The soldier prays for peace, but they bear the deepest scars. That's not always directly tied to physical war. That's not always tied to being on the battlefield. It can be, and you can relate to it in that way, but I personally believe that we war every day. Spiritually, we war every day against our flesh, right? A lot of us war inside of our households. That's why men regularly, and women don't understand this because they don't really know what men go through on a daily basis. Men regularly say they looking for peace. Have y'all noticed that, ladies? That when men have a conversation with you, and one of the number one things, especially a man of a certain age, a man of a younger age, a much younger age, he'll say, oh, I'm looking for the baddest chick, or I'm looking for a chick that do this and that, and maybe she could do some backflips. I'm looking for this. A lot of it is carnal. A lot of it is surface level. A man of a certain age, most of the time, if he's lived life and he's seen enough and he's been through enough relationships, or he's seen what his parents went through, or he's observing what his homeboys went through, or you've interacted with a woman that has stressed you out at some point in your life, most of the time they'll say, if a woman says, well, what are you looking for in a woman? They get rid of all of that stuff. You know how women, a lot of times they say that they lower what it is that they're talking about. So, for example, if a woman, you ask them in their younger years, you say, what are you looking for? And they say, well, he's got to be 6 feet and this and that and so on and so forth. And I remember this scene in Up in the Air, right? And she was talking to the older woman. The younger girl was talking to the older woman in front of George Clooney. And it was at this like company retreat or whatever. They had crashed this retreat and they was at the hotel. And she said, well, what are you looking for, man? And she said, well, if he's nice and he's gentle and hopefully he doesn't have any young kids and all of this other stuff. And people look at that as a knock, and I look at that as growth. I look at that as maturity, because from a man's perspective, we only usually talk about it from a woman's perspective because we say that women have outsized expectations of what they want in a man and all of this stuff. But in reality, if you start to look at it from both lenses and you look at it from a man's perspective, a man of a certain age, his number one quality that he's looking for in a woman is peace. Now, that doesn't mean that he throws everything else out the window, but he looks for peace. And so a cantankerous woman, a woman that is always riled up, that's doing too much, that want to argue, that always got something to say, she got to have the last word, I don't care how bad you are. I don't care how awesome your box is. I don't care how fire you think your head is. We will trade you in for a completely different model. As a matter of fact, if you relate it to cars, a man of a certain age is looking for a particular type of car. He don't even care about a new car. He don't even. Some guys saying, okay, well, I always want the newest model and I always want the younger chick or whatever. That's a different type of guy that got a different type of mindset. Is some guys, they understand if you look in his garage, he always got that 67 Corvette. If you ask most guys of a certain age, hey, what's your dream car? A younger man's dream car is going to be the Lamborghini. That's the thing that he grew up with on his wall. So he got to get that out of his system. A seasoned man's dream car is a 70 Chevelle, a 86 GNX Grand National, 96 Impala, '04 Marauder. A lot of times they harken back to the thing that means the most to them. And it's not that they have to worry about the fact that, oh man, the newest model or whatever. Yeah, they looking for the thing that gave them the most joy and the most peace. And it's because what women don't understand is that men spend their entire lives from the time that they open up their eyes to the time that we close them in our casket, warring. We war for resources. We war inside of our households. We war against other people that want to take from us. We war against the people that actually want to turn on us. We're constantly looking for the threat because we're expecting for somebody. We come into a restaurant and we sit with our back against the wall because we got to observe. Even when we at peace, even when we not at work, we always alert because we understand that there's a war on the other side of that diner, and it may not be my time for me to be able to see it, but it's there. And eventually it may come through the door, and hopefully we not there to see it. Because the soldier prays for peace. So when we deal with a woman and a woman says, well, why you ain't doing this or whatever, I need to have something, we don't care. We genuinely don't care about all of the additional cares of the world or what you have to say to the extent to where I'm willing to put my life force and my energy into it and go back and forth with you. Even when we get into it with people, right? I'm going to keep it 100 with you. When we get into it with people in real life, if you talk to most people after a certain period of time, that most guys will say, I wish that never happened. I wish that never happened. Like, I wish I never even had to get into that type of confrontation. It just don't be worth it. I mean, you make the most of it, right? You're going to see it through because you got to get the victory. But most guys, if you talk about the casualties, the energy, the draining, the stress, whatever it is that comes along with it, they not going to admit it openly because it in their mind it's going to show a sign of weakness. But they definitely would be like, you know what, man? If I could have avoided that, that's why I don't understand people that's constantly trying to get into confrontations. People that always say, yeah, man, you need to get into it. You need to stand your ground. Man, I'm trying to go home. Most police officers, they don't want to kick in that door to go and execute on that search warrant and that raid that they got to go through. They do it because they don't have no choice, because that's the job that they signed up for. But if you ask them, most of them would prefer to be able to get home at night. They just want to go home. They want to go home at night. Keeping it 100 with you. The goal for most people that are seasoned inside of the job is to get home. It's to try to make it back to the thing that they thought that they, the thing that gives them peace. What's up, OG? What up, Pete? What up, Terrible People Podcast? And so when we deal with things in life, most of us are looking for peace. They're looking for relief. They're not trying to deal with the same things that you think that we trying to deal with. You think we need to fight for your love? I'm not interested in fighting for your love. If it's not easily and readily available, then I'm straight. Women a lot of times will ask the question and they'll say, why do you deal with, or why do men deal with women that may be for the streets or something like that? You know why? Because they're less quarrelsome. It's not that they're better women or they're more wholesome than you. They're less quarrelsome and they're more likely to give you some sort of relief than they are to give you a headache that comes along with being with you. The price that you have to pay, and it ain't even financial a lot of times, the price that you have to pay to deal with a certain type of woman that may be a good girl may not be worth it in a lot of guys' eyes. And that's why a lot of guys sometimes deal with women that's for the streets, because even though they may know her history, even though they may know her background, it's sometimes easier for us to try to forget what it is that she about and deal with what she is at the time, because it gives us some sort of relief. Keeping it 100 with you. I remember I had a conversation one time with a person, with a girl, and I told her, I said, the lack of respect for what it is that I do to ensure that you in a good space drives me crazy. She translated that into being disrespect. And I broke it down for her and I said, no. A lack of respect is different than disrespect. And she just had to get it off. She had to get the last word. She had to, no, I'm offended. And I was like, and this wasn't like what y'all think it is, like a relationship. This is a different type of conversation. But it was like, and she felt aggravated and disrespected that I had shared that there was a lack of respect that came along with the effort that I put forth to make sure that their lives was easier. And I was like, I'm never. Pulse, you said that's the definition of toxic right there. I agree. And I told her, I said, I'm never going to share my thoughts with you. Everything is going to be completely business going forward. Guys would prefer, a lot of times women will even ask guys and they'll say, how come you don't share your thoughts with us? Because we don't want what come along with it. We not trying to deal with the foolishness that comes along with you knowing too much. And now I got to hear your mouth, because most times I don't tell you because I'm looking for a solution. I tell you because I think that it's going to bring me peace, but it brings me more chaos and it's not worth the exchange. You understand what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard. Even situations where we would like to amicably resolve in life, with people, beef, and all of that stuff. You know what? You know what forgiveness gives you? It gives you a sense of peace. It gives you a sense of peace. And sometimes we got to see it through. One thing that I know for sure, and the two things that I know for certain, is this, though. Nobody ever feels good after winning the war. Nobody. Because there was too many casualties. You realize that the war itself wasn't even worth fighting, and you're not the one that's going to really benefit from it. You're the one that suffered the most. I don't know any person, whether it's in a relationship or a person that was in the military, that came back and said, man, I really enjoyed that war. It was so worth it. It may have been necessary, but you can't say that they enjoyed it or it was worth it. The word of God says it's better to dwell on the roof than deal with a quarrelsome woman. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Life is hard for men in particular. Easier for women, and you'll never understand. That's a fact, they done. He said even Thanos wanted peace after snapping his infinity gauntlet. Justifiably so. He didn't even care if he died after he fulfilled his destiny. After he did what he thought that it was necessary to do. He was ready to chill. He was tired, boss. When he went back to his planet and he had to deal with Iron Man and them, he said, is the Maul dead? He said, oh. This whole thing is wearing on me. It's a heavy toll. It's a heavy toll on me. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Chris Cunningham says, AD, how many times should a man cry? As many times as you need. Just make sure that you do it by yourself and you don't do it in the presence of anybody, or especially a woman. Especially a woman. How many times should a man cry? However many times that he needs to, just don't do it in front of a woman. It's a toll. It's a huge toll that has to be paid. Just don't tell her that you cried. That's all I'm saying. Cry by yourself. Cry by yourself. You know what I'm saying? We about to get into the Trump conversation, absolutely, definitely. But all I'm saying is this. This is all I'm saying. Is choose your battles carefully, because it will cost you everything to see it through. And sometimes, because we're men, we can't retreat. We can't go back and say, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and wave the red flag or wave the white flag or whatever. Sometimes you just got to see it through, and it may cost you everything. Be very careful of the battles that you decide to take on, because it could wear on you. It could absolutely take the most out of you. You know how I know when somebody has an agenda when they come into the live stream? Is that they copy and paste and paste the same thing over and over again, over and over and over again, and over and over and over again. They're not looking for insight. They're looking for confrontation. And the reason why I ignore y'all is very much the reason why I see this quote right here. Is it's not worth the energy to put into it, because I know the spirit of a person that comes in, and when I see somebody copy and paste, or I'll give you another one, and when I see somebody actually typing in all caps, I'm like, just let them keep typing. Let's act like we don't see them. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes I see people and I'll address them before, but then they'll keep saying the same different things, or they're always in opposition every single live stream. And then that's when I start to just ignore them. What up, Tabby? And then eventually they'll get mad and they'll say something crazy. And it confirms that you made the right decision not to deal with them in the first place. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's see what we got on the agenda today. Apple is saying that they may have to raise prices because of the cost of AI. Oh, I don't even have that on here. Chicago is now, most of the clubs in Chicago are requiring for people to be 23 and up. Jay-Z exclusively selling his Reasonable Doubt 30-year album in Target, the vinyl. People are upset about that. Homeowners moving to the Midwest. Trump ended the war by officially signing the peace agreement with Iran in Versailles. Fox buys Roku. Giants players are being held accountable for not embracing pride. Y'all been telling me for the last couple of days the Love Island executive director dies. And then whatever it is that y'all want me to cover, I'm going to be checking back and forth in the chat to see what y'all talking about throughout the show. But right now, I have to make sure that I acknowledge the people that support the platform the most. And so let me start off with the Cash Apps. First of all, shout out to my dog, Mike, that dude. What up, Mike? What up, Mike, that dude? I appreciate you. We never miss. We never miss. What up, Mike? I appreciate you, big dog. King Kong Jr. says, for great content and giving us the real. Before I read the super chats, let me say this. For those of you that may be restreaming this or looking at this, and you feeling like there's an obligation in order for you to give a super chat or something like that, that's not me. That's not this. That's not this platform. If you give a super chat, I am incredibly appreciative. And for so many years since I've been live streaming and creating content, I've always made sure that I read every single super chat. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's 50 cents. I don't care what amount it is. I always give appreciation because you don't have to. So let me be very clear. And my sentiment is the same that it's always been since I started streaming. If you decide that you want to give a super chat, then you're doing it because you just love what we do, and I appreciate you for supporting the platform. You do not have to. I love the fact that you're here. I like the fact that you're participatory in what's going on and what we got going on. The more engaged you are in the chat, the more I'm incentivized to continue to engage with you because the chat is my co-host for the show. All right. So if you decide to give a super chat, I am going to acknowledge you because you don't have to do it. And anything that you give, I'm appreciative of. There's not a minimum requirement that I'm going to put on before I say, hey, no, I'm not going to read it under this amount. No. I appreciate you for just being here. All right. So you being here, you being subscribed, you tapping into the Patreon, that's dope. Anything that you do is extra. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate you for just being here. And I'm always going to acknowledge you. And I'm never, ever going to not acknowledge the people that support the platform the most. All right. So I just want y'all to understand what it is before I start to go off and cussing you out. It's not personal. It's just that this is what we do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. We derail and we cuss out. All right. Vito Royale says, can we get a round of applause to start the show? Absolutely. Self-Made Forever in the building with a 10 ball. Thank you, Self-Made says, I agree that God has his favorites, but do you think his favorites have free will? I would imagine if you're God's favorite, you will have a mission that has to be done no matter what. Self-Made Forever, I've always maintained that we have a perception of free will. It does not mean that it's free will. I've always believed that who we are and what we are is preordained according to the word. And if we are destined to be here at this time and this specific moment, then how can it be free will if it's already predicated on what exactly we're designed to do? I do not believe that we truly have free will. I believe we have the perception of free will because that is what makes us human and gives us purpose and makes us feel as though we have some kind of purpose on earth outside of whatever it is that God has ordained for us to do. Even the evil people, I think that they're predestined to be evil. I think that there's a perception of free will. I do not believe that we truly have free will, but we have to believe that we do in order to actually feel like we have a purpose. We got to feel like we in control. I disagree, Vito. We have to feel like we're in control. And so that's why we have to feel like we have free will. I don't believe that we do. I don't. Eric D says, nah, everybody has free will. God does not have robots. That's exactly what we designing. We're made in the image of God, and we have the same sentiment as him. And so we design people to be subservient. We have children because we have for selfish reasons. What do you mean? Why do you think we create an artificial intelligence? You think we doing it because it makes us more efficient and we're better? We doing it because we acting like gods. When we little kids and we have these little armies and these soldiers and we had the little green men and we already knew who was going to get killed and all of that stuff and we set them up. What do you mean? It's exactly what we are. But Eric D's thoughts on that shows that we don't really like to accept the fact that we don't have free will, in my opinion. Emmanuel Martin says, let's say DNA tests become oh, he dead set on this. Let's say DNA tests become mandatory. What do you think the punishment for refusal to be? Like upfront administrative consequence, not back end. I don't know. I have no truth. I have no. I don't know how you force it, if reinforce it, but you can drunk drive, and when they take you to the hospital, they automatically pull your let's say, for example, you get into an accident, right? And when they take you to the hospital, they already do a blood test to determine what your alcohol level was. You didn't have any say-so in that. You didn't have any say-so. Adon says, much love to what you do for us, Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Patreon members. Yes. Yes. Constitutional Trucker says, Anton, watching you for a minute. Would love to get mentored and connected with you. People struggle to move from low six figures to the next. Actually, yeah, that's going to be the biggest jump. It's hard to get from 100,000 to 1 million. If you're ever able to get to 1 million, you set. You set. Super Artist Club, Super Artistic Club. I don't do business through chat. If anybody wants to reach out to me and do any kind of business, I do business through email. My email is antondaniels413@gmail.com. All right. All right. All right, y'all. Let me get into this Trump conversation. I want to show you the actual signing of the agreement, and then we're going to deep dive. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I think the DNA test should be mandatory also.
App. Yes.
Bravo. Good job. Thank you, everybody. Great job. Bravo.
Mr. President, please, just one question for French TV and the Iran deal. Just one question, please.
You signed the deal?
You signed the deal?
The MOU? It's signed. You signed? You signed it in Versailles.
The story made in Versailles.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey starts us off tonight live from Geneva. Good evening, Peter.
And Brett, here in Geneva and also in Paris, it is after midnight. President Trump at this very moment is still at dinner with President Macron inside Versailles. And we were just told by a White House official that President Trump has signed a copy of the Memorandum of Understanding. There is some kind of a photo op that occurred. We expect to see that photo at some point soon. And what we know about this peace plan, it does not call for new weapons inspectors or sanctions on Iran. Instead, President Trump is saying that if they color outside the lines, he will just drop some bombs on their heads. And now the boss has to sell this Memorandum of Understanding to a skeptical American public. Key points shared by the White House. The U.S. will help develop, quote, at least $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And the United States of America undertakes to make fully available for the use of frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
The unfreezing is an easy one to answer. We have taken a lot of their money, and we have their money. We have taken their money. It's not our money, it's their money.
On a 14-point plan, it's not until point number 8 that you find this. The Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms that it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons.
Bomb Iran if they don't comply, but there's nothing enforceable in the deal itself. Is that correct?
Doesn't have to be.
This map shows U.S. military assets on standby in the region if Iran starts charging tolls in the Strait of Hormuz.
The alternative would be a worldwide depression. You can only go so far. Drive somebody into the ground.
The president's perspective on ending the war, it was just time.
The thing that's going to stop them from doing that, because you can't cover everything in a document, is common sense. They don't want to get bombed. They don't want to get hit.
And if Friday's signing ceremony goes sideways, he's got a plan. There's some element to this where you send the vice president. If it works out, great, you look like a genius for sending him. And if it doesn't work out, it's the vice president's.
I like that idea, sure. What? This way, if it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD. He's going to turn his plane around and get the hell out of here. Yeah, I like that idea.
So let me read to you the 14-point plan so that you'll better understand exactly what's going on. This is the 14-point plan. This is the official text in full. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran have jointly agreed in good faith, according to yesterday, on the following. The United States of America, this is number one. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war are signing this MOU to declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. Now, that's the big problem, right? Because Israel still wants to continue to have conflict and bomb Lebanon, and they're not playing ball the way that we want them to play ball. And so, you know, the conversation a lot of times is always centered around whether or not Israel is going to do what they're supposed to do. But let me read the rest of the first point. And undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operation against each other, and to refrain from the threat of use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions in this paragraph. Number two, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran undertake to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity and to refrain from interfering in each other's internal affairs. Number three, the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran commit to negotiating and achieving the final deal in maximum 60 days, extendable with mutual consent. So this is the framework, and they want more concrete details, but that happens over 60 days. But what this allows for them to do is open up the strait and stop the war, essentially stop the fighting. Number 4, immediately upon signing this MOU, the United States of America will begin the removal of its naval blockade and any disturbances or impediments against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and will fully end the naval blockade within 30 days. During this period, the traffic of vessels will be in proportion to the number of pre-war traffic being restored by the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America further undertakes to remove its forces from the proximity of the Islamic Republic of Iran within 30 days after the final deal. So basically, they're saying that we don't need to be over there to prevent them from being able to block the strait, okay? And we want to return it to the pre-war prior to us actually being over there. We want to return it to basically 2025. I'm going to stop saying the Islamic Republic of Iran. I'm going to just say Iran. Upon signing this MOU, Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge. So, if y'all remember, they were basically taxing people to raise money, and they were saying that they was going to charge them like $1 per barrel or something like that. I don't remember. But they were saying that they was going to tax people and charge them, but they're no longer going to do that, all right? No charge for 60 days only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. The traffic of commercial vessels will immediately start, and considering the need for removing the technical and military obstacles and demining because remember they were saying that they had mines in the water, demining by Iran will be instated within 30 days. Iran will conduct dialogue with the Sultanate of Oman to define the future administration of maritime services in Hormuz, in the Strait of Hormuz, in discussion with other Persian Gulf littoral states in line with the applicable internal or international law and the sovereign rights of coastal states of the Strait of Hormuz. Number 6, the U.S. undertakes with regional partners to develop a definitive, mutual agreed plan with at least USD $300 billion for the reconstruction and economic development of Iran. The mechanism for the implementation of this plan will be finalized as a part of the final deal within 60 days. All required licenses, waivers, and permissions needed for the relevant financial transactions will be granted by the U.S. Now, I don't know where that money comes from, but I'm going to deep dive into that and I'll do some research. Because I don't know if that's their money that we're unfreezing or if we're giving that to them as an investment, but we'll talk about it. Number 7, the U.S. undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions against Iran, including the United Nations Security Council resolutions, IAEA Board of Governor resolutions, and all unilateral U.S. sanctions, primary and secondary, in an agreed upon schedule as a part of the final deal. Iran and the U.S. acknowledge the critical importance of the sanctions termination issue above mentioned and express their intentions to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to approve or in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. So here's the one thing and the one question that I have about number 7. The question that I have about number 7 is, does that mean that that everybody has to go back to actually making transactions, especially oil transactions, in USD instead of the yuan, right? And the petrodollar. So I will be interested to find out more about that. Number 8, Iran reaffirms that it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. The U.S. and Iran have agreed to resolve the disposition of stockpiled enriched material pursuant to a mechanism that will be mutually agreed upon in accordance with the schedule mentioned in paragraph 7. With the minimum methodology to be downblended on site under supervision of the IAEA, the two parties also agreed to discuss the issue of enrichment and other mutually agreed matters related to the Islamic Republic of Iran's nuclear needs, based on a satisfactory framework being agreed upon in the final deal. The final deal will confirm the provisions of this paragraph. The United States of America and Iran acknowledge the critical importance of the nuclear issues above mentioned. They expressed their intention to immediately address these issues in negotiation in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. So basically, Iran agrees to not develop a nuclear weapon. Number 9, pending the final deal, the U.S. and Iran agree to maintain the status quo. Iran will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program, and the U.S. will not impose any new sanctions and will not deploy additional forces in the region. Number 10, the U.S. undertakes immediately upon signing of this MOU, and until the termination of sanctions, the U.S. Department of Treasury will issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil, petroleum products, and derivatives, and all associated services, including banking, transactions, insurances, transportation, etc. So basically, we're not gonna sanction them, to prevent them from being able to sell their products. Number 11, I'm gonna just say we instead of the U.S. We will undertake to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of Iran upon the implementation of this MOU. The U.S. and Iran will mutually agree on the procedures related to the release of these funds during negotiations. Such funds, whether retained in the original account or transferred, shall be made fully usable for payment to any ultimate beneficiary designed or designated by the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. We will undertake to issue all necessary licenses and authorizations accordingly. So the money that we froze of theirs, we're going to unfreeze it and give it back to them. Number 12, the United States and Iran agreed that an executive mechanism will be established to monitor the successful implementation of this MOU and the future compliance in the final deal. So basically, how do we enforce this? 13, after signing this MOU, subject to the beginning of the implementation of paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11 of this MOU and the continuing implementation of these measures, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will start negotiations regarding a final deal exclusively on the other paragraphs. And number 14, the final deal will be endorsed by a binding UNSC resolution. So essentially, Iran gets their money back. They get development money. I don't know if that comes from the people in the region, partners or whatever. The Strait of Hormuz gets opened back up. They're still negotiating a final deal. The U.S. is going to pull out from preventing them from being able to do what they do. We're not going to sanction them. They agreed also not to develop a nuclear weapon. We remove sanctions. The stockpiled uranium, that will be negotiated later on how we're going to retrieve that. They agree not to develop any nuclear weapons going forward. So that's pretty much it. That's the 14-point text as obtained by the media, including Fox, CNN, and other media outlets, to basically stop this whole war that's happening over in Iran. The problem with all of this, the problem about all of this is Israel. I don't have a problem with any of this stuff. The one thing that I am questioning is the $300 billion deal, or the $300 billion that's going to basically be given for the reconstruction of Iran. I want to do some more research on that. But the problem that we have is that Israel continues to be a thorn in our side. And I don't understand why they want to continue to bomb Lebanon. Obviously, that was in the first point that we will immediately cease. And I'll read it again for you guys because, I know that some people have a low attention span. The U.S. and Iran and their allies in a current war are signing this MOU to declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon. They specifically highlighted Lebanon and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operations against each other, to refrain from the threat of use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions in this paragraph. Yeah, Israel will be the problem. If Israel just don't do what they're supposed to do, then it puts into jeopardy our partnership with Israel, because Trump is absolutely positively disgusted with the fact that they continue to bomb Lebanon. All right?
We think he was kidding about that. Something the president is more serious about, though, is letting Iran hold on to some of their ballistic missiles. That is a policy change because earlier in this very war, the administration and the War Department were targeting Iran's ballistic missiles. Now the president says that if other powers in the region like Saudi Arabia are going to have them, he doesn't think it's fair to tell the Iranians they cannot have any. And just as that piece of tape was playing, the Iranians, through their state...
Class C, I disagree with you. Again, I believe that this was mostly about the petrodollar. The U.S. wants to maintain dominance in it being the world's reserve currency. And more importantly, we want all oil transactions to be made in the U.S. dollar. We don't want it in the yuan. We have to be able to combat against BRICS. I don't think that this had anything to do with impatience. I think this 100% has to do with the petrodollar. I don't think that this is even about oil. I think this is about how the transactions are taken and how they're conducted in the U.S. And we have to maintain dominance in the Middle East. We have to maintain dominance against our adversaries, which include China and Russia. And we have to make sure that we take control of what transactions are being conducted, where and who, and what partnerships are going to take place. For whatever reason, I don't know why y'all don't understand that our existence is because of our currency, our dominance militarily, and our ability to be able to protect our partners, which is one of the reasons why we have so many outposts and so heavy of a presence in so many different countries. We had whole conversations about BRICS years ago. 100%. I don't think this has had anything to do with a nuclear weapon. I don't think this had anything to do with any of that. At all. Not even a little bit.
Run media have said that their missiles are only meant to be fired, not to be negotiated. Brett.
Much more on this and the details. Peter Ducey in Geneva.
And welcome back to CBS News 24/7 Primetime. I'm Juliette Goodrich.
Correct. I think y'all do need to go and read Diplomacy by Henry Kissinger. It's a great book. It'll tell you everything that we really doing and why we really in proxy wars. And it has nothing. Listen, when we talk about nuclear war, when we talk about nuclear warheads, when we talk about Israel, when we talk about all of these things, that's our selling the war to not only the people in the Middle East, but also getting buy-in from Congress and people in the U.S. War has to be sold. It has to be sold 100%. And not only for our ability to do it, but also because we want the buy-in from the people when it comes to the next election. We have to make sure that we have buy-in and we still have our base here in the U.S.
Breaking news. A White House official tells CBS News the U.S. and Iran remotely signed the Memorandum of Understanding to end the Iran war. President Trump is in France for the G7 summit. He left the Palace of Versailles just moments ago after a dinner with French President Emmanuel Macron. So let's bring in Dr. Eric Loeb, Associate Professor of Politics and International Relations at Florida International University. Dr. Loeb, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about this 14-point agreement. What do you make of it, and do you think the U.S. is getting anything out of it that we didn't have before the war began?
Well, good to be with you, Juliette. And phase one of this agreement.
Let me answer a question really quickly. Somebody asked a really, really good question, and I think that this is the type of conversations that I want to have. Somebody asked a good question, and he says, how can we freeze others' money if it's not in U.S., not USDA, but if it's not in the U.S.? How can we freeze other people's money? And this is a great, and let me tell you why this is a great question. Because it shows the importance of the American dollar. Let me read it again for the people. He says, how can we freeze others' money if it's not in USD? How we freeze it is we basically cut off their ability to complete banking transactions through foreign institutions. Because these foreign banks, they rely heavily on access to the US dollar. This is why we have partnerships and U.S. dollar clearing systems. So if we blacklist Iran, we limit their ability to even be able to complete transactions. That is the ability, that is why it is important for us to maintain dominance with the US dollar. So basically what we do is we say, okay, well, US Treasury is going to blacklist these people, right? So processing foreign banking transactions, you lose your ability to be able to transact in the US dollar. If the US dollar has no value, if people are processing transactions in yuan, for example, then that means that we have no power to exert a sanction over anybody. Do you understand now? Do you understand why it's important for us to maintain these relationships in the Middle East? Do you understand why it's important for us to maintain relationships and maintain dominance as far as the US dollar, it being our current, correct, it gives us leverage, 100% leverage. We can crush a company's finances by saying, well, okay, we're going to blacklist you. That is a phenomenal question. A phenomenal question. But again, because we're so surface level, we believe that it's only based off of, oh my God, it's our relationship with Israel. Oh my God, it's because of nuclear weapon. No, it's our ability to even exert power over somebody. Our military, listen, two things is most important. Military, US dollar. Military, US dollar. Our military is our greatest investment. That's why we spend trillions of dollars every single year making sure that we budget for our military. And guess what? You'll never, ever see Congress say, yeah, I don't think that we should fund the military. They'll talk about a lot of things. They'll talk about, hey, we don't think that we need to enforce border control, homeland security. We need to take money against USA. Why do you think that we give so much USA? Why do you think that we spend so much money to have a military presence in other countries? They're buying our protection. Think about it. Congress is the ones that control purse strings. You never, ever hear them argue over the budget that goes into the military. And that is one of the biggest. Let me see something. Let me just research this because I want to make sure that I got exactly the facts. How much state's budget goes into almost $1 trillion, 850 billion to 950 billion annually. Annually. It's the fourth or fifth largest category when it comes to government spending. 16% of the budget. That means when we pay our taxes, 16% of it, like tithes and offerings that be going to the church, goes into the military. Almost $1 trillion every single year. And you never hear any conversation about why we shouldn't spend on our military. Because even Democrats understand it, even though they don't want to talk about it, even though they don't want to sell it. Crazy. Crazy. 2023, and this is under Biden. In 2023, the U.S. spent approximately $820 billion, or 13% of the entire federal budget that fiscal year on military spending. A bigger breakdown is there are 6 branches of the military. Hold on, let me see if I can find this really quickly. $961 billion in 2026 include $197 billion for the Department of the Army, $292 billion for the Department of the Navy, $301 billion for the Department of the Air Force, and $170 billion for the defense-wide expenditure. Crazy. And now we got the Space Force. So if y'all want to know where y'all tax dollars is going, that's where it's going.
Quid pro quo arrangement of Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz and the United States lifting the blockade, which is an issue, of course, that did not exist before the war. But in terms of what Iran and the United States are getting in addition to that, Iran is going to get sanctions waivers only on its oil exports. So it could resume exporting oil and to stabilize international oil markets. And the United States appears to be getting Iran to commit to diluting the stockpile of highly enriched uranium under international supervision on its territory, which would be a major concession for the U.S. and for non-proliferation more generally.
So the agreement states that all military operations must stop, including those in Lebanon. Israel says it won't back down on attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. So could this get in the way of a permanent peace deal?
Well, it certainly can, and Israel has played the role of spoiler in U.S.-Iran negotiations for years now, dating back to the Obama administration and the JCPOA in 2015. And as you said, Israel is clearly signaling that it will not back down, and this is really going to put the U.S.-Israel relationship to the test. And so we'll have to see if President Trump and his administration are willing and able to stand up to Israel and be disciplined and assertive and remind them who the senior partner is in this relationship.
Are we getting any indication that Iran will hold up to its end of the bargain once the peace deal is signed? They've gone back and forth on their word before, so you have to wonder what's stopping them from doing it again.
Well, Iran is facing major economic challenges even before this war that would incentivize it to cooperate or comply with this agreement. But I would say there are two issues here. Number one, the lack of trust that Iran has in the United States after having been attacked twice by the United States and Israel in the past year. And secondly, the timeline of phase two, whether they believe and others believe it's realistic to negotiate a comprehensive nuclear deal within a 60-day time frame when it took the U.S. and Iran months, if not years, to negotiate the JCPOA back in 2015.
Dr. Eric Loeb.
So that is basically what's going on with regard to Iran. I know a lot of people are disappointed that we've gotten to the point to where we're actually signing an agreement. That means that people will have to redirect their Trump derangement syndrome elsewhere. And I know that bothers people. That is absolutely, because see, now you got to talk about something else. When we were under Biden, we were in forever wars. Under Biden, we were in forever wars. Somebody said Anton won't speak on the Israel part. I literally... I talked about that in the 14-point breakdown and agreement. You want me to talk about it the whole time? Like, I literally led with that. If you just got here, then let me know. But I literally led with the problem is Israel is not happy about the agreement because they still want to bomb Lebanon. And that is literally the first point in the agreement. Do y'all... I need to get a drink. Give me a second, bro. All right. This is the type of show that y'all wanted. this is what you wanted. It's Friday Eve. It's Thursday. It's Friday Eve. It's Thursday. We had a great show last night on After Hours. We've had a great week when it comes to the Millionaire Morning Show. And so this is what we doing. All right. All right. Okay, Hoyt. This is what we got going on today. You got it. Let me read some of these super chats. Shout out to my dog B Hunter Spot with the super sticker. Thank you, B Hunter. I appreciate you. Mr. Too Fresh says today is decision day for birthright citizenship. Yep, I'm watching it. Hopefully, I'll be able to speak to it. My prediction is that they're going to uphold it. And I think that would be a mistake for the Supreme Court. But Pop, what up, Pop? I appreciate you. Scorpio Dre says Iran needs to take their people back. It's time to go home, big dog. Anthony Weston says, oh, yeah, I read that one. I answered that one. Shout out to Anthony Weston. That was a great question. All right, y'all. Before we get into Jay-Z, before we get into everything else, Vito Real says, enter the red cup. Nah, I'm chilling. My sleeves are rolled up, see? My sleeves are rolled up already. Shout out to Vito Real. All right, y'all. Let's get into Apple. Apple says it is raising prices. I want to weave in through different subjects. I don't want to just focus all on one thing and then focus on the next subject. I want to kind of weave in and out. If there's anything that y'all specifically is seeing in popular culture that you're saying that I need to cover, then let me know. But let's talk about business for a second. I want to go over to Apple. Apple is saying that they may need to raise prices because of the cost of spending, especially when it comes to AI. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Apple has a problem. It's so bad that Tim Cook is calling it a 100-year flood. The price for tiny but critical components buried inside our electronics is skyrocketing, specifically memory and storage chips. And Tim Cook told me it's going to force Apple to raise prices. I spoke with the outgoing Apple CEO in an exclusive interview about the company's plan to adjust to this new reality. Cook told me in a phone interview that the company's planned price increases are unavoidable. And while Apple has tried to mitigate increased costs, the situation, he said, has become unsustainable. So why is this happening now? Chips have gotten faster and cheaper every couple years, powering a new technology revolution every decade or so. But in the last few months, that magic formula has reversed. That's because the prices for memory and storage chips, which are inside virtually every computing device, have suddenly skyrocketed. Apple's latest warning is remarkable because it's been the biggest buyer of storage since the days of the iPod, and also a giant buyer of memory. But now, there's a new competitor in town, artificial intelligence. AI companies are flooding the memory and storage market with money, securing much of the supply. Suddenly, Apple no longer has the leverage to push the storage and memory makers for the lowest prices. It has to wait in line. And here's the thing most people don't realize about how Apple makes its money. Storage in particular isn't just a cost that Apple passes along to you. For 2 decades, upselling extra storage in iPhones, iPads, and Macs has been a major source of profits for Apple. What Cook told me on our call is that Apple has already been absorbing higher costs, but now it is swinging over to option 2, price increases. Cook didn't say how much prices will increase, or when, or on what products. But to give you an idea of the scale, research firm Tech Insights says the cost of memory and storage inside last year's iPhone 17 Pro was $50. The cost for the same components in the upcoming iPhone 18 Pro, around $200. Let me take a moment to explain why this is happening more broadly. Think of memory and storage as a desk and a filing cabinet. A computer's memory is known as DRAM. It's like the desk. It's the working space that holds all the information from apps you're working with right now. Close the app, and the desk gets wiped clean. The filing cabinet is storage, also called NAND. That's where your photos and videos live, or where the apps you aren't using are kept for later, even when the power of your device is turned off. So for instance, when you buy a phone that says it has 256 gigabytes of storage, that's the size of the filing cabinet. When the spec sheet mentions 8 gigabytes of RAM, that's the size of the desk. 2 different components, 2 different prices. And right now, Both of them are getting dramatically more expensive at the same time. Now, the good news for Apple is that it's in a better position than less profitable companies who have little cushion to absorb the higher costs. Every company that buys memory and storage is affected. Morgan Stanley estimates that to fully cover rising memory costs, smartphones would need to get about 34% more expensive. Laptops and PCs, around 67%. Other companies are saying this is worse than tariffs, worse than the chip shortage during the pandemic. So this isn't just an Apple story. It's a tax on basically everything with memory and storage chips. And few consumers realize this wave is coming.
Here's the key, though. I don't believe that it's going to affect anything at all. I don't think that people are tripping about it. I don't think that they're worried about it. And let me tell you why. I believe, and this is just my thoughts in particular, I believe that people complain, but they are not going to do anything about it, because the one thing that we want and the one thing that we're never not going to settle for is the latest and the greatest products. Now, what a lot of people don't understand also that comes along with this is that this is not going to be limited to Apple. This is not going to be limited to Apple. This is going to extend to every single company that sells smartphone devices, and you will not be able to avoid the change. You will not be able to avoid what this increase is going to do, because they don't have any control over the supply chain. One thing that people don't understand is that the reason why Apple started making its own chips was not just for performance gains, right? The chips that go inside, but we also got semiconductor chips, and you can't necessarily control it. When you're the biggest buyer of something, essentially you have more control over what the price is, because you have purchasing power. Purchasing power allows for you to be able to control the market a little bit more. So you can say, well, listen, because I spend this many billions in chips or in buying chips, I want to control how much we pay for it, and you better give me a better deal, right? Traditionally, this also happened with the automakers. The automakers were able to control how much they were paying, because they spent the majority of the money in the market. As you had other players enter the market, then they can't control it as much. Why? Because they don't have as much buying power. Now that you have all of these other competitors coming in and saying, listen, we're willing to spend an extraordinary amount of money for this product, right? And in this instance, when it comes to Apple, it's going to be AI, because you have all of these data centers, you have all of these modules, you have all of these, basically everything is being powered by AI. The cost of the brick is going up. So the cost of raw materials that it takes in order to make this product is going up, and you have less control over buying power because you're not the biggest buyer anymore. Now, people don't really care about that. People don't care about that. You know what people care about? People are simple. People are stupid. People are dumb. Now, Apple can't say, well, people are dumb, and so it's hard for us to be able to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Apple has to say, well, we're just going to absorb costs. We're going to absorb the costs. Apple has to summarize it, right? It's the same thing when it comes to politics. Apple has to summarize it and say, well, we have to absorb costs because the cost of raw materials and chips are going up. And the people are going to say, oh, man, I can't believe it. iPhones cost $2,000 or $1,500 or whatever, right? And it's going to be the same, right? All companies are basically waiting for the next company to say, oh, we're going to raise prices, so that they can say, well, we're going to reduce prices lower than our competitors. And so everything basically becomes marketing. Politics is marketing. Politics is marketing. Politics is, yo, listen, we're going to simplify this. When I had a conversation last Friday with the guy, and he said, well, if they would have went into more detail and told people that, over time, it's going to be this way and so on and so forth, people don't want to hear all of that. People don't want to hear all of that. Enforcer says, so nobody asked for AI. Come on, man. I need y'all to grow up and start to think a little bit more outside of what y'all used to hearing from Hot New Hip Hop on Instagram or the Shade Room. Stop taking y'all talking points from these low-level, low-hanging fruit places. Stop listening to Complex, okay? My mixtapes giving you your news. And start to think differently and bigger. Start to think Bloomberg, Business Insider, Marketplace, MarketWatch. Start to think a little bit different. Everybody is asking for AI. And it's not just here in the US, it's global. There's a global race when it comes to AI. We can't control the marketplace in the US either because the world is leveraging chip manufacturing and AI. Have you ever seen any of the robots that they're developing over in China? What do you think that powers them? It's a part of our infrastructure. It's a sign of the times. You think that they're building all of these data centers because they just like it? No, they're building it because they see the demand skyrocketing, and that's why they're racing to try to buy land so that they can build data centers so that they can power what you're looking for, right? YouTube uses AI. The very platform that you're watching right now uses it, whether you know it or not. Now, you may say, well, nobody asked for it, but you're using it. How do you think that they're able to give you your algorithm? When you go on Instagram, when you go on Facebook, when you go on TikTok, how do you think that they're able to process power and information and requests so fast with a growing population that has become dependent on social media? Now, you may not be using it effectively in your life to simplify your workflow or to simplify your lifestyle, but guess what? It's in everything that you do. It's in the traffic lights that they're now putting up in order to predict how to have flow of the traffic be more efficient. It's in the military, right? In your searches, when you want things to go faster and you want more information and they have to curate it based off of your user pattern and your cookies, what do you think is powering it? YouTube worked just fine before AI. Okay, you got it, Chuck. You got it, big dog. You got it, bro. You got it, bro. We ask indirectly. We don't always overtly say it. We say we want this, we want that. How come we not doing this? How come we not doing that? Why isn't the line moving faster? Why can't we purchase our tickets that we want to go to this concert more effectively? How do you think that they're able to implement that? Huh? Let me guess. You want more workers behind the scenes. You want more call centers and people taking your calls. Sometimes I don't even understand how y'all just think to type what y'all type before thinking about what you're going to say. I don't understand it, bro. The cars that you drive, they have so many semiconductor chips. You don't remember during 2020, 21, and 22 when there was a shortage of semiconductor chips and they weren't able to sell you cars? It's in everything we do. What do you mean? It's in everything. Now, you can sit here and complain about it like a geezer. You just sound like a boomer. You sound like a boomer. Nobody asked for it. We want analog. Okay. You got it. But the fact of the matter is, again, we have to simplify it for the consumer and say, well, we can't go through and say, well, listen, the cost of raw materials and companies that are powering AI and all of this stuff, they're buying up more chips, and so they're driving up the cost or whatever, and so Apple doesn't have the same purchasing power as it has before. No, that's too complicated. So you got to say, well, we've already been absorbing the cost, but shareholders, we can't just continue to take away profits from shareholders, and so the cost of the brick is going to go up. The cost of the brick is going to go up. And again, it's the same thing when we talk about politics. They say no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Now, because people are not wise enough or smart enough or intentional enough to go and research the policy for themselves, because everybody wants it to be simplified for them. Everybody wants it easy. Everybody just wants to be able to just go and do it, and that's the end of the conversation. Nobody actually wants to go. You know how stupid people are? We go to the polls and we vote for whoever we see on the ballot that's based off of whether you're blue or you're red or who's the first person. And guess what? You know what politicians fight for? They fight for the ability to be the first person in their category on the ballot because they know humans are dumb. We're simple and we're stupid. And so what we do is we predictably click the first one or we click straight down our party lines. We don't know the face. We don't know the policy. We don't know what this person stands for. We don't do our research. We're not interested in doing anything except for the lowest hanging fruit so that we can put a sticker on our shirt and say, I voted. Did you? I voted. Did you? We're nothing more than marketing tools and social justice warriors. We don't even know the interest rates on our credit cards. We don't know the interest rates that come along with the homes that we buy. We don't even know how much we're going to be paying for that home 10 times over. We don't even do the math and the calculation and say, you know what we do the math on? The only time that we really do the math is when we go through and we trying to figure out exactly how much our paycheck going to be when we get a new job. Ooh, I just got that big job, dog. I just got that raise. First time you do, especially if you've been laid off. If you've been laid off, ooh-wee, the first thing you do is you're going to find out when payday is. How often we get paid? Once every 2 weeks? Is this the bye week right now? Okay, cool. And then we're going to try to figure out exactly how much our paycheck is. Okay, so listen. If I claim 1, if I claim 0, if I claim 2, all right, so let me do this calculation. How much is my salary? All right, let me do this. Salary, Michigan, tax rate 1. Okay, what if I married? All right, cool. Tax rate. Okay, all right. You start budgeting for what you're going to do next. All right, yeah, I get that every week. And you start putting together your budget. Okay, cool. So, car note, rent. You don't even add nothing else. Phone bill, insurance. You don't have no plans to take the extra money. No plans to take the extra money and put it towards your debt. Car note, rent. You know what? My lease is up in like 6 months. I can get that new joint, that Escalade. They've been waiting on me to get the Escalade. You think I should get the V? Yeah, I should get Escalade V. Nah, the hoes can't tell the difference. We just get the regular Escalade. Escalade. You start calculating what your new car note gonna be. If I'm lying, I'm flying. That's what they do. Ooh, wee. You know what? Stunning. All right. You do the tax calculations. That's the only time that we start looking at making adjustments. I get the V. The hoes can't tell the difference. All right. Nah, I think we could do it. How long do you think I can get what's the savings? They can start calling. Right after that, you know what they do? Cadillac website. Let me see. Cadillac.com. Oh, they got new deals. They got new deals on the Cadillacs. Yeah. Year-end event. All right. Your girl don't even know. You know what guys spend a lot of they work hours? They spend their work hours building out their life on the internet, bro. We go through and we look at, okay, what's the down payment? What's the calculation? We plan our whole life on our lunch break. Go and look up our credit score. We ain't even got our first paycheck yet. Credit score. Need to get that under 30%. If I can get it up to a 660, 680, oh, we in there. You can go to mycreditscore.com, whatever the app used to be. What was the app that we used to go to? You can start planning out their life. And you got to plan your life out around the car. Then you do a comparison analysis. All right, you know what? I could get the Escalade, but let me go and check the Range Rovers. You know what I'm saying? They're like the whole. We'll go so as far to go and research a Rolls Royce. Because Rolls Royce don't have no lease information or anything on the website, so we're gonna go to Google AI. So how much is the average car note? Average Rolls Royce Cullinan car note. And you work at the plant, but it's cool. We're going to figure it out anyway. Car note Escalade versus Rolls Royce Cullinan. Now, here's the trick, ladies. This is what most guys do. Let's say the car note is just way beyond, right? The first step that we're going to do before we reduce our options back to the Escalade is we're going to say, well, hold on. What does the new model look like compared to last year's model? 2026 versus 2024. When did the new body style come out? So we can get a 24 and still be looking. Okay, give me a second. Used Cullinans. What do they go for? All right. All right. Okay. We might even call the dealership. Hey, Matt. New car sales. New car sales. New car sales. Yeah, I was in the market for a new Rolls Royce. First of all, I want to know how long does it take for me to order it and then for y'all to have it on the lot for delivery? What's the deposit? Okay. Y'all got any used ones too? Pre-owned? I'm sorry, pre-owned? Pre-owned? Okay. And pre-owned, we can't lease pre-owned, so the lease rates only apply to the new ones. Okay. And how much do we think I have to put down? Okay, all right. I think I could swing that. You ain't got no business calling talking about what you think you can sling. I think I could swing that. Yep. Okay. I got some new ones. All right, I might be in there later on today. Okay. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Like, if you had to choose between one of the two, like Escalade, Range Rover, Cullinan, like, what would be the one that you choose? No, I'm saying because it was just a combination that they was having at work. I was just thinking about it. Yeah, Credit Karma. Credit Karma. And in the worst case scenario, if you really, really desperate to stunt, do they got any salvage titles flooded? No, we can just rebuild it. Ain't it made by BMW? Yeah, we can just rebuild it. Salvage title, flooded. Nigga, they ain't gonna know the difference. We stunting on these hoes. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. San Juan says, literally just bought more Apple and Nvidia just now. I know this is a Patreon question, but what's the name of that cleaning service stock? Cleaning service stock. It has to do with sanitation, I believe. I'm not telling y'all what none of that stuff is here. I'm not telling y'all none of that. San Juan, send me an email or hit me up on Patreon. Donnell says, how does this storage issue impact Apple stock and chip stocks? Nobody asked for AI. Man, we're going to be on Mars in 5 years. I think that the storage, I don't think it's necessarily a storage issue. I think that is how much are the question that you have to ask yourself as a shareholder is how much are consumers willing to, because this is not just going to impact all aspect of it. All right, so now I got to dig into Patreon level talk. when I break out earnings per share, right? When we go on these analyst calls and we go into it on the Patreon, all right? And we go into earnings. Remember, a lot of their earnings are segmented, especially Apple, and I use Apple as an example to illustrate points. Their earnings are segmented, right? So they may look at different divisions separately. iPhones, right? And now when you're talking to iPhones versus the Mac line versus Apple Care versus the services division, all of it is different, right? How they break out their earnings are completely different. So what Apple, I suppose, that Tim Cook and the new CEO and all of their leadership is having a conversation about right now, and that they've been having a conversation about all this time, is they've been trying to figure out which division can absorb the cost increase, right? How many more subscriptions can they roll out without necessarily increasing costs? Because pushing out more subscriptions with the same product, right? If I can sell more Apple Care, that doesn't necessarily affect my bottom line. Whereas, what is the tolerance level for an iPhone user, and how often will they replace that device, right? I suspect Apple is going to roll out more programs that basically incentivize Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile to do more financing. I think that they're going to lean more towards being able to sell more products at a higher price point, but making it more accessible by allowing you to finance more effectively. They might have more trade-in programs. Hey, we'll give you an extra $50 or $100 if you trade in your iPhone 17 Pro, and then they'll start to use more recycling products and all of this stuff. But the fact of the matter is, the conversations that happen inside of these executive offices is being able to absorb costs. How many costs can we absorb, and where can we actually increase the price point, but then still make it accessible to people? Because if they have to pay $2,000 out of their pocket, they're less likely to do it, instead of having a program where they say, well, we'll renew you every 2 to 3 years with the latest. Well, at the same time, it's costing you more because you're paying more, and you may be able to absorb more than $5 a month, right? If you're able to absorb $5 a month more, $10 a month more without it actually hurting you, or you saying, you know what, then you'll do it. You'll do it. But I'll just leave it at that. That is the conversation. On the surface, they're going to say, the cost is going to be more. On a retail level, during the purchase process, you won't know the difference, because on average, most people finance the purchases and the renewals of whatever devices that they have, right? They may pass along the cost, a segment of the cost, over to the carriers. So there's a lot of different ways that a company can finesse this and make it make sense to the consumer without them noticing too much about the fact that there may be a price increase. You know what I'm saying? Why am I a mess, Onaka? Wesley Turner in the building. Wesley Turner says, AD, what's your favorite type of architectural style? I think Art Deco style buildings and skyscrapers need to make a comeback, but in a modern way. I don't know how you can make that in a modern way. Because when you're talking about Art Deco, you're talking about a lot of detail, right? What you're starting to see is ultra modern, when they're starting to have a lot of glass buildings and stuff. Because what I'm starting to see in a lot of these skyscrapers, even outside of Detroit, is like the gap between where the hotel sits on a Hudson's building, the gap between where the hotel sits and where the residences start. They also have filters, or there are no units there, but it's actually empty in between there to allow for air to escape through it. Because the higher up you build, the more that you actually need to build in this way, and you have to start focusing on whether or not the wind will affect the building itself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to see people more be concerned about cooling, right? Cooling issues, because when you're starting to do Art Deco, when you go back to Art Deco, they had infrastructure problems. They had cooling problems. They had all of that. You're talking about building materials and costs. People are more likely to build with glass buildings. Like if you look at the new Chase building in New York, Majority of the cost was the materials and the infrastructure. It had nothing to do with the design of the building itself. I like Albert Kahn style buildings and homes. But again, it takes so much to preserve that type of stuff and to bring it back. I like the train station. I like all of that, right? So I don't know. I don't think that anything is gonna make a comeback as far as modern when it comes to Art Deco at all. Whatsoever. You know what's so funny about that? I work in a building with a bunch of architects. My building, the majority of the people that's in here are architects. The New Chase building is old? No, the New Chase building is dope. The Chase building in New York? Oh, let me pull it up. No, that's brand new, big dog. What do you mean? 270 Park? That's brand new, big dog. It said operates with net zero operational emissions. No, dog, that's brand new. Chris Cunningham says, dead A, that's what we do. Car, home, clothes, facts, and we get fresh on it. AD, I just resent the email with the ad. Yeah, but you also said some crazy stuff in that email too. Let me read what you just said in the email. I seen it. He gonna look. Oh no, maybe that's not you. Maybe that's somebody else. No, that's you. I think that's you. I ain't even gonna say. I ain't even gonna say what you just said. You just talking crazy. Talking crazy inside of my email. Gonna try to hold me accountable about it. Vinyl Revival says, AD, I just drove up to the dealer window shopping. Man, we love going by and seeing it. Tater Best says, I'm a few minutes behind, but I was just looking up colors the other day. Talk about that would be sweet in my driveway. Yeah, we dreaming. Sanquan says, bro, I asked the same question last stock club. You couldn't get to my question, and I get it because there's a lot of people, but you never answer my emails because I'm not a woman. Why do y'all think that it's because of woman? The women don't have nothing to do with the emails. Elizabeth Williams says the Obama library looks like the Death Star. Y'all crazy. Y'all is crazy. Rock says, sorry for the off-topic question, but any advice on tools and frameworks to learn a skill faster? No, I just think that you have to deep dive into whatever software you're getting into. Most software, I don't look for any training at all. Like if you're going to do UX, then you want to start using the tools, the UX tools that's necessary. I switched over to XD, Adobe XD, just because I wanted to be all in the same software kit as far as the Adobe Creative Cloud. If you want to learn AI, you got to start deep diving into the AI models when it comes to Anthropic. Compare and contrast Gemini, Anthropic, and start building stuff. Learning how to prompt more effectively. If you want to start learning about Photoshop, you got to start playing with it and participating with it and experimenting with it. And you got to start deep diving into it. The best way to learn something is just to basically crash out in it and start using it for whatever it is that you do. Octavia says, I'm a cooling engineer here in Memphis for AI and critical infrastructure applications. And I'm telling you, it's amazing to see how fast they're setting us up for the future. I've seen some pretty cool stuff out here. I want to go to Memphis so bad. Hey, if anybody works for a company that can get me a pass into seeing what's happening inside of their data centers, send me an email and I'll fly out to see it. I want to see it for myself. Somebody says, Anton, when are you doing a TED Talk? On Fridays on Room 9 After Hours. Fridays, Room 9 After Hours is when I'm doing my TED Talks. I don't know if I'm doing it tomorrow because I have to go to my daughter's graduation party. But starting next week, we got a new schedule. Starting next week, we got a new schedule when it comes to after hours. All right. Mondays, I'm going to experiment with the gas night. And then Fridays, we're going to be deep diving. All right. Let me read a couple more super chats and we got to get to Jay-Z because I know y'all feeling some type of way about Jay-Z. Long Way ENT says, AD will have you at work doing specs on the Urus. Facts. That's a fact. Crimson says, all praises to the Lord. Anton, have a wonderful and prosperous day today. Keep up the great work. Hey, Crimson, have you DM'd me? You deserve to be treated to the finest of restaurants and a weekend and a great weekend on me. Crimson, what's your Instagram? Let me see something real quick before I get into Jay-Z. I'm trying to prevent myself from having a flare up. No, women can be in the chat 100%. You deserve a fine weekend. You deserve to be rewarded. Because she's been very supportive, and I just want to make sure that I reward the people that are very supportive of the platform. Hey, somebody, one of the mods, somebody close to me, y'all get Crimson's IG, and then I'm gonna make sure that we reach out because, how you figure that? Slim Trini? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Let me see. Slim Girl Trini. Y'all know what y'all need to start doing too? Hold on, let me see something. Let me see something real quick. There we go. All right. All right. I'm looking at something completely different. Looking at something different. We're going to go into Jay-Z. Mm. You know what? You know what I'm not doing anymore? Listen. Let me say this. Slim Trini girl, you send me a DM also. I'm going to read that. Let me say this. I'm going to get to all of the information, all of the DMs. I want y'all to send them to me right now so I don't forget about them. Before I move into the next segment of the show, because I want to get to Jay-Z, let me say this. All right? Because in the midst of checking my email, somebody sent me something that said, Anton, this is what they said about you. Anton, this and that, and this and that. All right? If you send me an email of something that somebody says about me that you think may be negative, I will not check your email. I will delete it. I have said this for 1,000 times, 100,000 times. I am in a phenomenal space, financially, emotionally, everything. I am not interested in other people's opinions. I focus on being a creator, and I let everybody else say whatever it is that they want to say. I don't care. I'm not interested. I don't entertain it. I don't watch it. It don't come up on my algorithm. I know that people are looking to get visibility. I know that I am Algorithm Daniels. I know this. I get it. I understand it. I see it. Yes. I am the algorithm. I am still the algorithm, and everybody still rocks. All right? I see it. I know that as long as I'm on the internet, I am going to be doing crazy views. It is what it is. You don't have to keep me informed, and I appreciate you, okay? I want to let you know that I appreciate you. You do not have to keep me informed on what people think. I'm aware. Let me show you something, okay? Just in case you forgot, I'm going to give you some insight. Let me close this out so you'll understand what I'm talking about. Over the last 30 days on one channel, we've done close to 80 million views. Do you see the graph at the bottom? It is continuing to go up. All right? We have not slowed down, not even a little bit. Our motion is motioning, and I haven't even been as aggressive with my content creation as I have been in previous months. In the last 30 days, we've gotten an additional 51,000 subscribers, which I think is a low number. I would like to get it up to 100,000 subscribers every single month. 2.6 million in watch hours, 79 million views. This is just the Anton Daniels channel alone. This is not all of the rest of the channels combined. I am focused, man. We are revenuing, man. We have so many different sponsors reaching out to us and saying, we want to be a part of what you got going on, man. People can say what they want to say, but let me tell you something. I heard somebody say yesterday that they had never heard of me. I prefer it that way now. I prefer it that way. I would prefer for people to say, man, I don't know. I don't want you to know who I am. I only want to focus on running up a bag. That's all I care about. I don't care about nothing. As a matter of fact, I would rather be not known. Have y'all noticed that I actually removed my facial expressions from the Millionaire Morning Show? I removed my name from the Millionaire Morning Show with Anton Daniels to just the Millionaire Morning Show. I don't even care about the visibility no more. I only care about the numbers and the money. I only care about the numbers and the money. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters to me at all. And so unless we focusing on money, unless we talking about a bag, unless we talking about my 24,000 plus Patreon members, do not send me anything, especially from somebody that has less than 1.4, 1.5 million subscribers and is doing at least 10 to 20 million views a month. If you're not doing at least 10 to 20 million views a month, if you're not doing at least, if you don't have at least 1 million subscribers, then it's low-hanging fruit for me. It's low-hanging fruit for me. I don't care. So don't distract me from what I'm focused on. Don't care about this person. Don't care about that person. They trying to get their numbers up, and I salute them for getting their numbers up, and I appreciate them for continuing to promote me in the algorithm. All right? Leo girl, you want to holler? Okay, Leo girl. DM me. DM me. All right? The point that I'm making is that we're not focused on that. We focus on running up a bag. We're bag chasers, not clout chasers. If I wasn't relevant, then they wouldn't talk about me. Let them talk. We cool with that. We got to run up a bag. Let them do interviews. Let them talk. Let them do all of that stuff. I'm cool with it. I tell you this, though. One thing is for sure and two things is for certain. If we want to have a money runoff, we can do that too. If we want to do big bank, take little bank, I'm with that. I don't care about what people's opinions are on this other stuff. I want to say, ain't none of these people getting more money than me. None of them. On no front. None of these people are have portfolio, all of that stuff. Ain't none of them are getting to the bags the way I'm getting to the bag. They surviving. They're surviving. I'm pressure. That's the difference. Pressure, self-made, no control, don't need no plugs, don't need no help, don't need nothing. Now, if y'all want to play big bank, take little bank, then we can talk that. But other than that, So that's where I stand with it. That's where I'm at. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. What else we talking about? What else we talking about? You know what I'm saying? What we talking about? I don't care nothing about what these niggas is talking about. I'm big in circles that you don't even have access to. Let's focus, y'all. Let's focus. Let's see. Jay-Z. I guess we can talk about Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z. H to the Izzo. Jay-Z. So everybody is mad at Jay. And they're saying that they mad at Jay over the idea that he's not supporting black people in their boycotts because his exclusive 30th anniversary release, A Reasonable Doubt, has ignited discussions about Target's relationship with black consumers and the lasting impact of boycott efforts. All right? Fans are preparing to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Jay-Z's landmark debut album, Reasonable Doubt. A new business partnership involving the rap mogul is generating debate well beyond the music world. Now, let me first say this. I believe that Jay-Z gets 100% of Reasonable Doubt after 30 years. Somebody correct me on that. Jay-Z gets 100%. It's the one album where Dame Dash and all of these other parts, and he had to split it 3 ways because it was his debut album. But it's the album that actually means the most to him. And I'll introduce this into the conversation tonight on After Hours just to piss Slimmy off, because I know Slimmy don't like talking about Jay-Z, but we'll talk about it. But it's the album that means the most to him according to what he said in previous interviews. But I also believe that he gets 100% of his masters and he owns it 100% after 30 years. After 30 years of your product being out there, you get 100% of it back, right? Fi Brown, what you mean correct, unfortunately? You don't want the artist to get their product back after 30 years? Dang, Fi. That's his baby. That's his original work. Fi, you that much on Team Dame that you think that Dame should own a piece? Well, I mean, I know that Dame don't own it, but you think that somebody else should own a piece of somebody's original work after 30 years? Wow. Come on, Fi, man. Don't be bitter like that. So, again, the whole idea, I believe, is that he owns 100%. And so now he can start pushing it and selling it. Yeah, but you know, I want Dame to get a piece. That's crazy, Fi. That's crazy. That is insane, bro. They say Fi's Dame's cousin. I believe that. So, because of this, and to celebrate the 30-year anniversary, Jay-Z has allegedly done a partnership with Target to basically sell the vinyl, right, in Target exclusively. It says the hip-hop icon's release of Reasonable Doubt has reignited discussions as fans prepare to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Jay-Z's landmark debut album, Reasonable Doubt. A new business partnership involving the rap mogul is generating debate well beyond the music world. Target will exclusively sell a special collector's edition of Reasonable Doubt beginning June 26, marking 3 decades since the album's original release in 1996. Why do y'all keep saying he get it back in 2032? It dropped in 1996. He gets it back in 2026. The limited edition release features white vinyl exclusive packaging, collectible inserts, and alternate presentation elements aimed at longtime fans and collectors. The album remains one of the most influential releases in hip-hop history. I agree. I'm pretty sure Slimmy won't. Certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, Reasonable Doubt helped establish Jay-Z as one of rap's defining voices through tracks such as Dead Presidents 2, Can't Knock the Hustle, and Brooklyn's Finest. Euroweb first reported the partnership has sparked renewed discussion among black consumers over the ongoing boycott efforts against the retail giant. Controversy stems from criticism Target faced in 2025 after scaling back several diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, according to Euroweb. The retailer's decision fueled calls across social media for consumers to reduce or stop spending at Target, particularly among some black shoppers who viewed the move as a retreat from earlier diversity commitments. Let me say this. This is the reason why you never give in to the mob in the first place, because you'll be emboldened to, at some point, break away and say, you know what, we don't want to do this anymore, and then it'll bite you. This is the reason you never get in bed with the mob, ever. And some people will say, well, what is the mob, Anton? Well, first, do you know historically that if you got into the mob, you can never get out, and the only way for you to leave the mob is for them to kill you? The problem with Target is that they first started to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion instead of just selling the best products and doing partnerships. When you brand yourself as a part of, I want to be inclusive with you, you basically endear yourself to them and you make yourself a target if you ever say, all right, our partnership is done and I want to go my own way. Because now they're going to say, well, listen, now we're going to boycott you because you're no longer giving in to what we want. This is why you never, ever, ever give in to the mob, because then they have greater expectations for you and they will never, ever, ever allow for you to do what you want to do when you want to do it. I will never, ever give in to the mob. You know why? Because then you can never say that I switched up on you. Now you can't hold me accountable. I never endeared myself to anybody. I found my tribe based off of, in the very beginning, I found my tribe, even when it comes to content creation, based off of the fact that you rock with me because you rock with me. You like me, you like my personality, you like however I communicate, you like the fact that I like to talk about money, you like politics or whatever. I'm going to switch up on you all day long. I used to be liberal, now I'm conservative. I used to be a Democrat, now I'm a Republican. I used to be broke, now I'm rich. You can't say that I sold out to you because I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you nothing. I might not even like you tomorrow. But the minute that you basically endear yourself to him, then it becomes, oh, wait a minute, you switching up on me. Now we boycotting you. The minute that you start endearing yourself to something or you commit to something, you got to be committed to it for life, or you got to remove yourself from it all the way, because then they'll try to hold you accountable. So now can't nobody sell nothing in Target all of a sudden because you decided to boycott. You decided that you wanted to lean in diversity, equity, and inclusion. So now you feeling some type of way. And so somehow, some way, I have to endear myself to you. But guess what? If you see me in boycott, you don't really care because you know, oh, Anton going to do what Anton want to do anyway. They knew that from the very beginning, even from birth. In church, in my own family. Oh, Anton is a black sheep. Why? Because he not conforming to nothing that we got going on. We'll be lucky to get him to show up at a birthday party. When I show up at a birthday, oh my God, what up, Ty? They be so excited. The people be mad. They be mad, and my family be pissed. My family be so pissed because I don't commit to nothing. So when I show up, it's like a celebration. It's a celebration. They be pissed. They be so. The other people in my family like, wait a minute. You ain't say that when I walked through the door. Because you're not special. I'm special because you didn't expect for me to be here. And so the problem with Jay-Z, because I want to make it relatable to y'all, I'm going to tell y'all how y'all need to play this. Content creators, people, all of that. The problem with Jay is that Jay-Z went pro-black instead of just focusing on selling records. He tried to fight for y'all. He focused on reform and change when it comes to bail reform in New York, Rikers Island. He rolled with Colin Kaepernick. So now people came out and said, well, what does he do for Colin Kaepernick? How come he didn't do this? How come he didn't do that? I'm sorry, I didn't know that I owed you anything. Dame Dash is his bitter baby mama, and so he gonna forever be mad at Jay-Z. He's never gonna get over him. Why? Because he committed to doing business with a person. They all got rich. One of them no longer is as rich as he was. I'm not counting his pockets. I don't really care about how much money he got. And so now they're forever going to be mad at him. They even get mad at Jay-Z for responding to the things that Dame said. Why? Because he's a bitter baby mama. Anything that you commit to that you're no longer committed to, they're going to become your bitter baby mama. And so the black community is now feeling some type of way about Jay-Z. They used to rock with him. They used to love him. They used to, billionaire Hove, it's The Rock. And all it took was a few people to change their mind about him, and now, I don't like Jay-Z no more. None of the stuff that he did matters. He helped Lil Wayne with his taxes, helped Meek Mill. All of this stuff, right? And now it only take a couple little situations for people, couple little accusations. Oh man, you see what happened to Diddy? Oh man, you seen him do this? If you live long enough and you become successful, eventually you'll have the people that you thought was rocking with you, they'll turn on you. It happens to everybody. It'll happen to you. You think you above it because you think you keeping it real? Okay, do it. I dare you. Get rich and let everybody else find out and watch the people turn on you. Oh man, he ain't the same no more. He ain't the same no more. I seen people switch up on Drake. Now they rocking with Drake all of a sudden. Shebang. Now everybody is Shebang. Except for Slimmy. Slimmy has been consistently a hater of Drake, and I give him that. I give him that. Slimmy has always talked negatively about Drizzy, and so, I understand it from his lens. See, on the Millionaire Morning Show, I can say what I want to say, and Slimmy can't bully me. And so he got to wait. He got to wait about 10 more hours before he can hold me accountable. Right now, I can say what I want. And the chances are is he'll probably soften his heart by the time we get on the panel because we'll be talking about different subjects. And so he won't hold me accountable for it. But people switched up on him. Then all of a sudden it was, I never switched up on you, King. I never switched up on you, King. Here's the key, though. You're only as good as your last hit. You're only as good as the greatest thing that you've done lately. Until you cross that mark, because Iceman was so good, now everybody went back on Drake's team. Unless Jay-Z drops an album that's transformational, the people are going to turn against him. Just the facts. It's just the facts. And they're going to hate him until that's the end of it. And the people are going to be on top of it. And the problem with Jay-Z, again, is that he endeared himself to the community instead of focusing on just creating great music and selling albums. He became a part of the culture. And when you become a part of the culture, you have to own it. You have to endear yourself. And when you become one of the top dogs at the part of the culture, people hate you for it. And they're going to turn on you because they're waiting for your downfall. They want to see somebody take you out. Everything you do is they're gonna be criticizing it. They're gonna be on it. It's just the facts. It's unfortunate for Jay. Hove! Supporters view the arrangement. Let me see if I can pull up some stuff that people are saying about Jay-Z. Jay-Z Target. Let me pull it up on TikTok.
Black men.
What's that?
They say Target was the company that took away the DEI.
Black men, when we gonna start holding Jay-Z accountable and start letting him be a double agent for the culture, bro? Because I'm starting to notice a pattern. Every time we form some sort of solidarity, they send his ass in to fucking break that shit up. When we decided to boycott the NFL, they partnered with Jay-Z, bro. When we decided to fucking boycott Target, he's dropping an exclusive album in Target, and you niggas better not buy that shit, bro. Straight up. Stand the fuck up, dog. Black men, when we gonna...
First they was happy. Oh, yo, we got one of us in there. Now they was, hey, man, he a double agent, bro.
As y'all see, Jay-Z has partnered with Target when he know and they know we are boycotting them. But they know how much the black Americans love him. And they say, okay, we'll partner with you. We'll give you all these millions. Instead of us putting DEI back in, instead of us treating black people right, we'll give you wealth to make them come back in our stores. If y'all don't start boycotting these people that play in y'all face, it's with no celebrities. I ain't going to watch no movie. I ain't going to nobody concerts. I ain't doing nothing until you speak out. Fuck you. You don't care about me and my family. So I'm not going to care about your money. And that's what we have to realize. Our dollars make these people who they is. If we take our dollars back, we hold the power. Y'all have to come with it, though. At this point, Jay-Z should be canceled. And I don't know.
What's the first thing that black people say when they don't like what you do? He needs to be canceled. He needs to be canceled.
I believe the exclusive re-release of Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt in Target stores is a testament to the success that we are having in boycotting Target. This was very calculated, and they had him partner with them for that re-release to get us back in their stores, which shows you that what we're doing is working. But what's disappointing about this is you can always count on someone who looks like us to try to undercut our movement when we band together to try to achieve the results that we want. What do you think? Tell me about it in the comments. I believe the exclusive...
Black folks, when we often talk about people playing in our faces, it is actually very easy for people to play in our faces. Because it seems we can't decide if we want to be liberated or if we want to be the oppressor, because we can't have both. And the conversation around Jay-Z with this partnership with Target, the amount of capes that people put on. And then you have to recognize the ways in which people's politics will teeter and tie as long as the price is right. Because when folks say, hey, let's boycott, insert whatever it is that black people feel like we need to boycott, there's a whole segment of folks that says that doesn't make any sense. We don't need to do that. When black folks say, hey, let's support black-owned businesses, make sure we continue to cycle the dollar into our communities solely and be very intentional about it. Then you got black people on the other side talk about well, black people are unprofessional. What's more unprofessional than somebody following you in a store? What's more unprofessional than somebody shooting you, following you, chasing you, beating you because they suspect that you stole something that they've never seen you actually pick up or steal? Please show me where the wealthy black folks hired the multitude of black women that were laid off by the federal government. I'll wait. Please show me. We got Kevin Hart allowing a racist comment to make jokes about the murder of George Floyd. Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting next to Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. The amount of black politicians that have a foreign nation in their back pocket, while black folks across the nation can hardly feed, clothe, and house themselves.
They say Target.
Blessings, y'all. It has been 30 years, believe it or not, since Jay-Z released the Reasonable Doubt album. Now, he is currently in the process of partnering with Target to re-release the vinyl for that anniversary. So my question for you guys is, number one, are we still boycotting Target? And then also, too, how are y'all feeling about him partnering with Target?
I don't want y'all to beat me up over your favorite, okay? Because Jay-Z is reportedly partnering with Target to release an exclusive 30th anniversary Reasonable Doubt vinyl. This is interesting because, mind you, the real Target boycott is not over. And I'm not talking about the one that Pastor Jamal Bryant popularized. With the impact
What is popularized?
and influence that Jay-Z has, why Target? Now, you have to admit the timing is interesting, because if I take you back to 2019, 3 years after Colin Kaepernick took a knee on the field to protest social injustice and police brutality, Jay-Z partners with the NFL in the name of social justice, even though Colin was permanently unemployed for peacefully protesting against social injustice. I don't want y'all to beat me up over your favorite, okay? So
some Jay-Z fans are...
Wait a minute, hold up.
Out of public view.
Don't talk to me about how.
So, I heard your favorite rapper is partnered up with Target. He done got y'all money and ran and said he don't care about no boycott. I can't. See, this is why I said on my previous video, I would never, ever support that man in anything that he does anymore.
I keep trying to tell y'all. It's only a matter of time before all of these people turn against you. You can never, ever, ever please the culture. Ever. And the fact that y'all keep on pandering and y'all keep on thinking that it's going to benefit y'all, it's not. Eventually, they're going to turn against you. And the very thing that made you, the very thing that you thought that you was trying to help, the very thing that you was pouring money into and resources, the very thing that you thought that you was standing up for whatever causes that you donated to, however many people's bail that Jay-Z played, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because what they're going to do is they're going to go with whatever the popular thing for the moment is that they feel like is going to get them traction and can get them a couple views, and they don't stand for anything. They don't stand for anything. Every single person is going to demonize you for your choices, yet they say that we need to be able to have choices. We need to be in high places. We need to have diversity in other spaces. We need to have other black people be able to give their opinions and to be different from ours, but we just want to be able to be relatable and have... No, it only works if you're aligned with what they think. And that is the reason why people like Jamal Bryant, Roland Martin, all of these different people, they are always going to be able to get some motion in the black community because they stay on code. They pander. They don't give you their real thoughts. They live out there with all of them white folk. You don't see one of these people going down to move to Memphis. Newsflash for you. Most celebrities that were born and raised and get to a certain level in Detroit, they move out of Detroit. Most people that get enough money move out. They're not moving to the blackest cities. They're not moving to Detroit. They're not moving to Memphis. They're not moving to some of these southern places that have the blackest populations. They're not rebuilding a city. They're not staying in there with you. All they got to do is pretend like they align with you, get on Instagram, say a couple messages, not really do nothing, don't rebuild their community, don't put no money in their community, don't put no money in people's pocket. All they got to do is pander, and they got your attention. And if you pander and you stay on code long enough, you don't even have to live it. You don't have to live it. Don Lemon is married to a white man. Kamala Harris is married, and I don't have no problem with y'all choosing to be who y'all chosen to be, but the level of pandering that goes along with it is crazy to me. Kamala Harris, the one that they stood with the most, is married to a white man, and that's cool on my lens, but people overlook it because as long as you pander to the community, that is all that matters. It's all that matters. They don't have to live amongst you. They don't have to spend their money with you. They don't have to do nothing for you. They don't have to give back to no communities. They don't have to do no scholarships. They don't have to do none of that. Join a couple of organizations, be in the boule, be in the whatever, you know what I'm saying? Stomp for them. And then you good. And just continue to do that. Pander, 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 pander. Panda, 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 panda. Get their addresses. Ask them who their neighbors are. Ask them who their neighbors are. Ask them who their neighbors are. Ask them where they get their groceries from. It's all optics. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's all optics. They're boycotting any businesses that's not black, but they still work for white people. They boycotting all the businesses that's not black, especially Asian businesses, but they buy their products from China. They're boycotting Jay-Z, even though he's doing a deal where Target is giving. I thought that y'all wanted them to actually do business inside of Target and for them to embrace more black people in Target. Okay, so Target is embracing more black people. They decided to partner with Jay-Z, and y'all don't like that. Y'all pissed at that now. You can do anything you want in the black community except for hold black people accountable. You can do anything you want. You can have children out of wedlock. You can have as many hoes as you want. You don't have to marry them. You don't have to do nothing, bro. You don't have to actually do anything. You just can't say the wrong thing to them. You don't have to do nothing, bro. You don't have to parent your kid effectively. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be good at what you do. All you gotta do is say, I'm pro-black for you. You don't have to marry them. You don't have to live in the communities. You don't have to have your dollars circulating around them. You don't have to do nothing. I do all of that. Married black, live black, employ almost all black people. I'm like 98% black employment, employ black women, put money in their pockets, help black people. All of it. My life is a reflection of support for the community, but they will sit there and tell me. Somebody told me that they canceled me in Detroit. Where? Where am I canceled in Detroit? What are you talking about? How? How can you cancel anything? You don't have no power to remove me from anything and anywhere. Talking about, I'm more integrated with everything that happens in the business. You better be careful before I run for mayor and take this motherfucker over. You better be careful. You better shut up. That's what I know. That's what I know for sure. And two things is for certain. You better be quiet before I run for mayor. And I'm giving grace. That's what's really happening right now. Niggas ain't even from here telling me what it is that I can and can't do. Ain't even in my city telling me what I can and can't do. You better be careful. Before I take this motherfucker over. Run for mayor and put everybody out this motherfucker. My cup is cupping right now. Now I'm trying to be humble. I'm trying to be humble. I'm trying to partner with people. I'm trying to be nice. And mad at Jay. Can't believe that. Wow. Impressive. Impressive. Let me see what else is happening in these streets. Love Island director. I want to do this one. Let's talk about it since we're talking about the Midwest. I've been wanting to do this story for a while anyway, so I might as well do it now. Oh, I gotta read the super chats. Let me read the super chats in a second. I got you. I got you. What y'all gotta understand also, and what I want y'all to realize is that if you're loved by God and what you do is truly based off of what's best, and serving your purpose, y'all gotta stop taking into consideration what everybody else says. You got a purpose. Stop being afraid of people and start focusing on what you're supposed to do in your purpose. People spend too much time worrying about what everybody else think. It ain't about what everybody else think. It's about what you're supposed to be doing. It's about you. It's not about them. Can't nobody stop you when God is behind you. It's not about them. They'll become a doormat. They'll become your footstool. Stop focusing on what people think. Nobody care about what y'all think. Don't care what color you are. So you black and you got an opinion. So what? So is my a-hole. So is the bottom of my shoe. It's got a black sole on it. I'm sure it don't want to be stepped on, but guess what? We need you for comfort. Everybody got a thought. Everybody think that they should be. Well, who told y'all can have an opinion anyway? You got to qualify yourself to be able to talk and say certain things. You just woke up. Man, get to work. Get to work. Keep on talking to you about what you think and getting your opinion. Gave you TikTok. That was supposed to be for the kids. And you woke up and decided that you wanted to not do dances, but you wanted to run in the Victim Olympics. Y'all want to trauma bond together. Giving their opinion and their thoughts. Okay. Shout out to Spaces. Spaces says a lot of women don't have rings because their man is too busy planning on buying a car that he can't afford. He tells her rings are too expensive. Hey, listen. I'd rather have my dreams than give you your ring. Rock says, thanks for the advice. I'll get to work then. Shout out to you. Manny Plays PC says, have a blessed and productive day. He gonna take the same approach as the chicks. I had a hard week. I need to be rewarded. That's a pretty good one. Elizabeth, what up, Elizabeth? Says, you don't respond. I sent one, never got a response. You sent one what? You sent the email or a DM? Let me see what we're working with right now. Hold on. Oh, that's you? All right. There we go. All right, I got you, Crimson. I got you. The Rubinite says, what up, though? Thank you to the Rubinite. I appreciate you. TS Car Wash and Detail Services. AD, you going to play Luda Janice freestyle still? I don't know why you want me to play that so bad. You, Joe Budden Podcast, and Shannon is my dogs. Thank you. I appreciate you. I got you, Crimson. I got you. Country Boy Finesse says you should do an exclusive interview a month. What do you mean by exclusive interview a month? Like what? Interview somebody that y'all want me to interview? Tucker Luck says a bit behind, but between yesterday's Broke Chronicles and today's irresponsible car prospecting, you are you are definitely relatable, Time. I've been through it all. Hey, it's just real. It's just real. 392Q says they'll boycott Target instead of their deadbeat baby daddies. Fact, I thought that everybody said that they was broke anyway. Treya, what up, Treya Holly says, my pop's a huge Jay-Z fan and I will be buying it for him on Father's Day. Man, shout out to Jay-Z. I got your email. I just seen it. Literally, I seen it like 10 minutes ago. I sent you an email, OG. Thank you for the daily motivation while I'm at work. What up, Steel City? I appreciate you. Tragic in the building says they play in their own face looking in the mirror. And Light Man says, can't wait to buy Reasonable Doubt from Target. Hove is the GOAT. Wesley Turner says, hold on, what exactly does the culture support? Nothing and nobody. Benny Han. 1JBN says, you know how many feminine, slim back, juicy, single, kid free, and baby mamas be in Target? It's what we, Nintendo. What's we, Nintendo? I'm in there. Y'all can keep big back, loud, burnt edges, high cholesterol, Wally World. Yeah, they ain't gonna stop going to Wally World. Fa says, I like how they conveniently leave out that Jay-Z helped in getting Kaepernick a tryout with 28 teams in attendance. Kaepernick decided to be a no-show because they hear what they want to hear, Fa. Zav says, AD for mayor, you got my vote. 392Q says, if you run for mayor, AD, them saxophones going to be loud for the bro blacks. I think it'll be one of the most controversial mayoral races ever. Joshua says, yo, Tom, what's some books that you would recommend for the bag chasers? It depends on where you are. Random Walk Down Wall Street, Buffetology, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The Alchemist. Oh, that's a good start. That's a good start. The Intelligent Investor is a good one also. D-Rage says, yo, Anton, I just turned 23 and feeling excited and curious about what's ahead. Any advice on things you would have done differently at that age? At 23? I wouldn't have moved out of my mom's basement, or I wouldn't have moved out of my mom's house until I was closer to 30. I know that that's probably something that y'all probably don't agree with. At 23, I wouldn't have been in a rush to be independent. I would have stayed home. I would have stacked, I would have stayed home, and I would have spent 90% of my income on investing. 90% of my income, I would have spent it on investing instead of spending it out in the streets. I would have stayed home. I would have practiced group economics. I wouldn't have been in a rush to get out on my own. Would have stayed home. I would not care about what people think. You stay at home with your mom, all of that stuff. Don't matter. Stay focused, stay grinding, stay hustling, and I would have stayed home. I would have moved out at 30. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even have considered moving out until my daughter was of age to go to school. That's going to be hard for you, bro. That's going to be a hard sell. It's going to be difficult for you to fathom that and dedicate yourself, but stack every dime that you have. Buy your house at 30 in cash. Stack every dime you have. Buy your house between 30 and 35 in cash. Invest every dime. Put it in the S&P 500. Every dime. You got your whole life to be an adult. The thing that you want to do is you want to focus on investing every dime that you have into what you're supposed to have. And then you can live the rest of your life how you want to. I promise you it's going to be better off. Don't be in a rush. Never be in a rush. What's your view on the Porsche Panamera? It's okay. It's a dope four-door. It's cool. I think it's dope. It's expensive. It's a nice car. If you buy a Porsche Panamera, you got to buy it for you. You can't buy it to stunt because it's as beautiful as it is. It's not gonna change the game for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna be a thing where it's like, dog, that nigga driving a Porsche Panamera. It's gonna be like, oh, your car fresh, but it's not like a showstopper type of car. It's a if you know type of car. The Trail says, no, Anton, you see, you're trying to change the narrative now. This is insane. The 808 kid says, literally every major artist drops exclusive vinyls at Target. It's called selective outrage. That's the truth. Rob Beautiful says, all of the presidents are on stage right now for the opening of the presidential opening. Chicago has great things happening. Let me see what's happening in Chicago. What is it for the Obama presidential thing?
Left turn. March. Boulevard. Halt.
Hold on, let me close this up real quick. Let's see what's happening out here in these streets.
Performing our national anthem, born and raised right here on Chicago's South Side. Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award-winning legend, Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we...
All right, I got you. That's cool. Seems kind of boring right now. But, you know, I don't know, man. Y'all, hold on. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think that I should go down to the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago and go and visit? Y'all think I need to pull up to Chicago and go and see the Obama Presidential Center? Should Time Dog pull up to the Obama Presidential Center and give my honest thoughts and my honest review of what I think it's like? Somebody says it is boring. No, what do you mean? What do you mean? You haven't been there. How can you judge it before you've been there? I want to give an honest perspective of what it is. Chicago is right up the street. I can always catch a flight to Chicago. Brandon Johnson going to put a hit out on me? Maybe. To die at the hands of Brandon Johnson would be diabolical. Chris Cunningham says, Ed Milet, Power of One More is an awesome book. Well, I never heard of that one before. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says, because that freestyle is tough. TS Car Wash says, you going to CB and Usher on July 2nd or 3rd? Nope. Reed says, I need some help. I've been working my job for 10 hours and go home just to work on apps till I get tired, but then I got extra time left and I want to replace gaming. What could I do next? What do you mean? You got to just keep working. Go get some more money and invest. Read a book. Got to hustle. LT Jr. says, what up, AD? A few months ago, I asked if you would consider sharing your salary income progression from the time you graduated college until your first retirement. Could be a good Patreon episode. Yeah, but I would have to include how much I was making in business also, because the salary doesn't tell the full story. The thing about it is that I didn't care about my money past like 2011, 2012 from salary, because everything that I lived on personally was coming from business income. And everything I made in corporate, or everything I made at the University of Michigan or Comerica Bank or Flagstar or any of that stuff, it all went to investments. I never spent a dime after like 2011, 2012. So, yeah, I can go into it. Absolutely. I wrote it down. Absolutely, I wrote it down. Let's go over to the Midwest for a second, y'all. All right? Because they're saying that everybody is deciding that they want to move to the Midwest because it's more affordable. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Oh, it's the magic of Cleveland, Joy.
For years, shows like Hot in Cleveland made living in the Midwest a punchline.
Have y'all ever heard of a show called Hot in Cleveland? I've never heard of this show before in my life. I've never heard this show in my life. Hot in Cleveland? I've never heard of Hot in Cleveland. Have anybody ever heard of a show called Hot in Cleveland? I'm being absolutely for real. I've never heard of a show called Hot in Cleveland in my life. Y'all heard of a show called Hot in Cleveland?
Friends don't let friends move to Cleveland.
But now the Midwest is having a moment.
I'm 28 years old. I moved here from New York City.
People moving from the coast to cities like Cleveland, thanks to its more affordable cost of living.
Moving here was kind of like an exhale. Like, we suddenly felt like it wasn't so stressful to live.
Lauren Silverman and her husband David moved here from LA when they were about to have a baby.
There's a lot more house for the money.
Would you have been able to buy a house like this in California?
Probably never.
You just feel that mobility in your life out here that you don't feel out in a West.
They're not alone. For the first time in years, census data shows a trend some called the Midwest exodus is reversing, with more people moving to cities in states like Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio.
I already told people that this was going to happen from an investor's perspective. I've been trying to convince y'all that this is where all of the money is going to be, that we've actually had a population surplus over the last 3 years, but it's not just Detroit itself. It's also the Metro Detroit area, Cleveland, Indiana. All of these places are having a population surplus of people that are driving up the housing prices, and they are moving here because they're getting more bang for their buck, and they're also realizing that they're insulated against a lot of the other stuff that's happening in other places like hurricanes, flooding, New Orleans falling into the ocean, housing prices, fires. We don't have water problems down there in Arizona. My daughter just came back from Arizona in Tucson, and she was like, Dad, the big conversations down here is the fact that people are running out of water. I'm like, really? They talking about that openly? Like, yeah, they talking about running out of water. Vegas, different lakes drying up in all of these places. We got the largest body of fresh water in the world. And so a lot of people don't realize that this is where the future of the money is going to be. The money is going to be in the Midwest. I guarantee, anywhere outside of Chicago, this is where the money is going to be. Years ago, I had staked my claim in the Midwest, and I said, this is where all of my investments going to be. And it's paid off handsomely. It's paid off tremendously. So now you see a whole bunch of people that are basically running here because they get more bang for their buck. And instead of having to spend $15 million for the same house that you can get for $750 and pay a whole lot less in property taxes and have a better quality of life, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. That is exactly what they're doing. And they build in super luxury houses because it's just a fraction of the cost of what they would have paid in California. It's a fraction of the cost of what they would have paid over in Vegas. It's a fraction of the cost. And when you're talking about quality of life, you're talking about costs, 100%. Quality of life is directly tied to the cost that it takes to live in a place. Anton, what do you mean? Because a lot of people will say weather, all of this stuff is bull, is lies. When your money goes further, you can do what you want. I'll give you an example. I don't care about winters no more. You know why I don't care about winters? Because my cost of living is so low that I can change the weather when I want to. It's cheaper for me to build and live here than it is for me to live in California, pay a crazy amount of taxes and property taxes just because I want the weather. Well, I like Michigan summers anyway. I like the fall, summers, and the spring. If I want to change the weather for 4 months, 5 months, it's cheaper for me to change the weather than it is for me to go and live in California. Why would I do that? Why would I give them all of my tax money? Why would I lower my quality of life and have to worry about water shortages than it is for me to actually embrace cheaper living, better quality of life, and my investments are booming when it comes to building up real estate. A lot of times people will even say they think that I'm staying in Detroit for them because I'm being committed to the culture. I think I'm staying in Detroit for me because it's best for me and my family and my investments and my portfolio and my finances and what my prospecting is. I'm selfish nowadays. Past 40, become selfish. You got a limited window of how much longer you're going to be on this earth, and nobody is going to care when you die. Get selfish and start doing stuff for you. I'm not chasing a culture. I'm chasing my own happiness. I'm here because I want to be here, not because I have to. I can live, work, and play anywhere I want to go in the world. I don't need you. Doing it for the culture. No, nigga, I'm doing it for my pocketbook and because it's best for me. Why would I endure when it was down the whole time and not benefit from it when it's up and give it to your big head? Care nothing about you. I like my own life. I like my convenience of being able to live, work, and play in the same area. I like my portfolio booming because this is what's happening in the Midwest. I did it for me. I did it for you. You poor. You don't even own your own house. You missed out on the opportunity to buy your house. And now everybody came in and the prices is booming. You can't get in. You better be quiet for I not rent to you. Anything you do it for you. You don't have to qualify it for other people. I got season tickets because I like the Pistons. That's why I got them, because I like basketball. Not because I need to endear myself to you.
Then leaving them.
If they go to a market like Cleveland, where prices are much lower, it provides a much more accessible entry point into home ownership.
The median priced home in the Cleveland area is $237,000. In nearby Akron, it's $226,000. Nationwide, it's almost double at $419,000.
People sleeping on Cleveland. I will tell you right now that Cleveland is nice. Now, like any other city, and I visited Cleveland a lot of times, like any other city, there's always going to be places that's bad. If you go to California, if you go to Los Angeles, the whole thing is bad. So that goes what I was saying. The weather is good, so they can be poor and out in the streets 100% of the time. If you go to any major city, you're going to have bad parts. It doesn't matter what city you go to. Miami is horrible parts. Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, whatever. Any place you go, there's going to be places. There's going to be places that is bad. But what I am telling you is that Cleveland is nice. You gonna show me around? I bet. Cleveland is nice. I like Mississippi. It depends on where you go in Mississippi. It's a big state. Eric D, have you even visited Cleveland? How would you know? I don't believe you even know nothing about Cleveland. Listen, before y'all say stuff, all right, before y'all say some of the wild stuff, I'd rather live in Memphis and Cleveland, you got to actually be able to experience it for yourself. You have to, bro. You got to go and see it for yourself. You can't draw your conclusion based off of your perception of what the media says. That's not true.
In Cleveland, you only need to make as a household $68,000 in order to afford the monthly mortgage payments on a median priced home. Compare that to the coastal cities. In New York, it's over $200,000.
Ohio realtor Katie Matteo also moved from the West Coast. She says she's now seeing a growing number of buyers from states like Texas, California, and Florida who are willing to forego the attraction of bigger cities for a more manageable lifestyle.
I am seeing out-of-state buyers move to the area weekly. Many are shocked at what they can get here.
For Lauren and David's family, it was a bet that's paid off.
At a different phase in my life, Ohio did not have much to offer for me, but as a mother now, and
y'all just talking. Y'all really just talking. Y'all are just talking. Y'all, most of y'all, maybe Eric D has been there, but most of y'all have never been to Cleveland before. You don't know nothing about it.
with a family, it's the only place I'd want to be.
So big picture, the Census Bureau says the Midwest is the only region in the entire U.S. where every state has seen its population go up over the past year. We are going to have more of this Affording America series.
The Midwest is the only region in the entire United States of America. I told y'all, Anton, where do you think we should invest in? If we get into the real estate game, where should we invest? This was years ago. This was literally years ago. Anton, where should we go if we get into the real estate game? And I told y'all, Midwest. Oh, I don't know, man. Midwest. If you're looking to go and spend some money and park some money, Midwest. I told y'all a long time ago. Midwest. That's where everybody gonna go. That's where they're gonna. And I was telling you, I said I ain't even talking about now. I'm talking about what's gonna happen in the next 15 years. Midwest. Go and invest in the Midwest. That's where the gold rush is gonna be when it comes to growth and prosperity in real estate. Oh man, I don't know, man. All right, cool. Do it your way. It's the only region in the entire country. The only region in the entire country. The only one that has had a population increase. The only one. Now I come back and I say, hey, listen, this is what's happening. This is what the numbers is doing, and this is what people are doing. They don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. They don't care to listen. They're not focused on listening. They're not focused on their portfolio. They focus on how they feel and where all of the hoes going. I know people still trying to move down to Atlanta and Houston. You think you're going to run an offset? You think Drake going to change your life? What you think you're going to run into to Jay Prince and them? What's wrong with you? You're not going to win playing the game the way that you playing it. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications. The Genius says, what can I get for $2,800 a month in Detroit? Everything. Everything. Literally everything. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. Yep, I'll show you around. I love my city. Ra, where are you at, Ra? Rob, where are you located? You'll be here, OG. Rise in Cleveland. Yeah, Miami is done. I would never buy a property in Miami. Some people saying she in Cleveland. Other people are saying that she in Chicago. Shout out to Ra. When I come to these cities, I need tour guides. You know what I'm saying? I need people to show me around, see what's happening inside of these cities, all of that. Visit Miami, don't move there. That's a fact. It's a nice place to visit, never a nice place to stay. Don't invest in Miami, bro. Don't invest in Miami. All right? Let me see something real quick. No, I would not buy a property in South Beach, Miami. Absolutely not. I would never buy anything in Miami or Los Angeles or California. Shout out to Mike. That dude says, Team Dame, JJ Evans getting gunned up and clapped quick. Courtney Yeager says, do I need to send another email for the one-on-one? Nope. You sure don't. You sure don't. I got him. I got him. What about South Beach? Let me answer y'all questions in the chat. I actually got to run and check on a property in like 15 minutes. So let me see something. Let me see what y'all talking about. I just moved to Charlotte and I'm leaving. You don't like Charlotte, Paige? Corktown is popping. Corktown is popping. Miami has no soul to me. Everyone there to flex. Miami has no culture. Miami has no culture. Miami is a tourist destination. Most of the people that's from there or in Miami are not even in Miami, are not even really from Miami. Midtown is popping. That's where I got my studio at. My studio is in Midtown. South Beach is peak and pricey. Not gonna lie, once you experience high-speed internet here, you can never go back. Yeah, we got great internet here. I just can't fathom blizzards or below zero temperatures. That's love making. That's love making weather. Let me see what else y'all talking about in the chat. I love Charlotte. Carrie is a sweetheart. Don't y'all be fooled by what Carrie talking about. Y'all let Carrie fool y'all into thinking that she a sweetheart. Thoughts on Columbus and Cincy? I've been to Cincinnati one time, but it was really just stopping over. Columbus is just okay. I think that if you're going to move to Ohio, I think you should go to Cleveland. Whenever you move to a place, always move to a place that close to a major airport. Gary is being bought out fast. Everybody says that moving to Charlotte, then leave because it's boring. Is Charlotte really that boring? All in love with Carrie. Just moved and leaving is wild. Let me see. Told y'all Charlotte is trash. Slim Trini, DM me real quick. Let me see what else y'all talking about. Are you doing coaching calls for real? Yeah, I'm gonna try to knock out as many as I can this weekend. Raleigh or thereabouts, beautiful country and historical. I think some of y'all probably just boring. I think some of y'all are boring. Living in the Midwest affords you the opportunity to go to Miami during blizzards and below zero temperatures. I'd rather live in Arizona all year long. Ugh. It's Carrie says whatever. Arizona is a retirement community. Detroit's Wi-Fi game is sick. Everything is fiber here, especially in the downtown area. Check out Charleston, South Carolina when you get a chance. We don't have blizzards here in Detroit. That's true. And the snow is already taken care of most of the time. Dayton. How is Tennessee? Any good areas, Anton? I only know about Memphis. Nashville. And I think that Nashville is now really, really overpriced. Greenville, South Carolina. Got to get you insight on Cincy. It's a dope city. Come to Huntsville, Alabama. Good investment, especially for land. Carrie is an angel like Brittany. Interesting. Who am I to tell you differently? Yeah. I love Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is dope. That is one of my favorite cities in the United States. It's Pittsburgh. Let me see. My city might be BS, but I love Baltimore. I haven't really seen Baltimore like that. Kansas City. Water is an issue in Arizona. The Arizona sun was trying to take my life. Anton, would you live in Arizona? No. I could live anywhere, but I wouldn't live in Arizona. You got to go to the country, Pontiac, Michigan? No. AD, Baltimore is right for Pickens, my friend. They got a bad mayor. They got bad leadership in Baltimore. I don't like what's going on in Baltimore. I don't like the leadership in Baltimore. I might go to Pittsburgh soon. If I don't go and visit Obama's whatchamacallit, then maybe I'll hit Pittsburgh. I don't know, man. I like it a lot. Or maybe I keep talking about going back down to Biloxi. Go to Biloxi. I got to get to Biloxi. I'll take Cali every single day. That's a fact. It's nice down there, but it's just too wrong. Everything is wrong in California right now, our streets. Everything is wrong in California right now, our streets. It's just not right. It's not right. It's not right at all. Let me check in on this Obama thing. Who was that? Christina Aguilera? These singers sound terrible.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, President Obama and Michelle. President and Mrs. Obama have always shown us that hope isn't passive. It's something you show up for. For the past 8 years, the Obama Foundation has been bringing that hope to life. Now, see the mission in action.
Leaders emerge every day in classrooms, in neighborhoods, in communities across continents. A whole generation is already shaping what comes next.
We are reporting live from Rio.
Welcome to Greece.
Africa, Europe, and the
Welcome to Chicago. I'm in Antarctica.
For over a decade, the Obama Foundation.
So that's why Obama and Michelle has been at the house. Because they've been saying that Obama and Michelle is home, they're home, they're home. And so I guess they're home because of this whole presidential library situation. You in Chicago, Rob? So Rob, if I pull up to Chicago, you gonna show me around?
We had to be able to say
I think Rod's behind
and
too.
We're going to make sure that you have the opportunities and chances to move forward.
My brother's keeper is definitely the support that helps us catapult our young men into greatness.
The Girls Opportunity Alliance, founded by Michelle Obama, supports grassroots leaders and organizations.
Who is talking right now? Is this Alicia Keys?
By telling our own story from our perspectives, that's how we're going to change the narrative. That's how we're going to shift the way that we're seen in the world. When girls get the opportunity they deserve, we all benefit.
And the Obama Foundation's global leadership programs, where emerging leaders in the United States and around the world are building community and learning skills to take on the defining challenges of our time.
Many of the challenges that are happening in our countries are so universal. If we work the playbook well, then we can put it into practice.
We come from different nationalities, different cultures, but we do our work for love of community, for love of country.
This is our city. This is our team. For 53 years we watched. For 53 years we waited. Now we've won. One last time, New York, say it with me. Nixon! 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 So much.
Thank you, Mayor. Now let's bring up the New York Public Advocate, Jumaane Williams.
Knicks in 5, baby. Nueva York, Knicks in 5, baby. I cannot believe I'm here. I cannot believe we are all here. Truth be told, we all owe Mike Brown an apology. Let's say sorry right now. And a lot of y'all pundits owe Jaylen Brown a whole lot. I'm sorry, Jalen Brunson, a huge apology. Y'all know what y'all said. And he came out here, and like the mayor said, all we need is 0.4%. I'm sitting here standing with Jalen Brunson. That makes no sense at all. But I want to say, my daughter, Amelie, is somewhere in there. She's going to college. This is an awesome going to college gift. Thank you so much. My wife, India, wanted me to thank the NYPD for making sure everything went the way it was supposed to go. New York, let's keep this energy going. Everybody's saying hello. Everybody's being polite. Let's keep it going. Young, old, black, white, Republican, conservative, everybody. This is what it's all about, the New York Knicks. And I can't wait to talk to my younger self. And I'm going to tell them to hold on, because on your 50th birthday, they're going to give you a championship, and you're going to be a citywide elected official on this stage. Let's go, Knicks, baby.
Next up, our New York City Comptroller, Mark Levine.
Why do everybody get to give a speech?
Williams, the Spike Lee of New York City government.
Why do everybody get to give a speech?
Bueno, señores, ya que hay un jugador boricua en este equipo y un jugador dominicano en este equipo, hay que comenzar con un chin de español. ¿Qué les parece? Miren la bandera. Si están de acuerdo, hagan bulla. Que viva Quisqueya y Boricua. No matter what language you speak, we want to thank this team for bringing this city together, for uplifting New York, for showing the world that we are not afraid of anybody. Even if you are 7'4" and the refs refuse to call a foul on you no matter what. We are not afraid of you.
You got the
We do
Hoochie
not
Daddy
back
shorts on in
down,
the background.
no matter how far behind we are. We were down on 9/11 and we came back. We were down in Sandy and we came back. We were down during COVID and we came back. We were down 29 points against the Cavs, against the Spurs, them too, and we came back. We are New York. We don't stop fighting. You should be afraid of us. We are the champs because of the New York Knicks. We love you. Knicks in 5.
I know they be tired of sitting there listening to this.
Next up is our New York City Council Speaker, Julie Menon.
Nah, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. No. We're not going to do this all day. All right, listen. I got to run and take care of some business. We back at it tonight on After Hours. Let me read a couple of what's going on inside of the chat and why it's so competitive and petty. They don't even watch basketball. That's true. Why talk about COVID? Fact. They hacked Wemby. Yup. Guaranteed they're not speaking English in Mexico City. Last parade for another 50 years. Congrats to the Knicks. These people probably paid to be there. This is a lame celebration, but after 50, lame. Yeah. All right, listen. Read this last super chat. Illusionist says, I'll look into Rick Ross giving you a tour of Chattanooga on the back of an alpaca with a crew of belly dancers. Y'all crazy. Manny Plays PC says, his Spanish was horrible. I barely understood what he said, and I'm Dominican. All right, so listen. I'm about to put together my tour even outside of the Patreon meetup. Patreon meetup, we're going to be in DC on the 25th. Please don't tell no locations. Don't even speculate about no locations, about specifically locations, especially if you've already been to one of my meetups, because we do not want no dusties at the Patreon meetup. We don't need that. We only want good energy every single meetup. And I've done over 30 throughout the years. I think I've done close to 30 meetups. We've never had a problem. It's only been good energy, beautiful women, great energy, parties, drinks flowing. It's going to be fun. So DC, 25th of July. 25th of July is DC. And then where did we say that we was going in September? Dallas. Dallas is in September. July 25th, we're going to be in DC. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. If you are not a bag chaser, if you're not a Patreon member, you are not invited. And so if you are a Patreon member, you will get the location and the details. If you're not a Patreon member, don't even holler at me. All right? Slim Trini Girl, make sure you reach out to me. Anybody that plans on giving me a tour at a city, Chicago, wherever y'all going to be at, Cleveland, anybody that want to give me a tour, I prefer feminine energy. All right? I think that women are the best tour guides personally. All right? We're going to get it in, and we're going to get it popping. San Antonio, all of that. All right? All right. Let me see what's happening. More Than Mellow says, getting interviewed for a $70 an hour contract. All right, yeah, we need to talk. Probably need to talk. Josh McLean says, off topic, but got back from the parade, and there's way more people out there than what's being advertised. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that New York is packed. DC, then Dallas. July, then September. All right? If you're not a bag chaser, you're not a Patreon member, don't ask me where the location is. It's going to be a lot of beautiful women that's in the building. All right, I got to run to this meeting. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all tonight. Peace.